Live from the soccer complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island, you're watching exclusive men's CUNYAC soccer coverage right here on CSI Sportsnet. This afternoon in the CUNYAC Conference Game of the Week, the College of Staten Island will look to extend their winning streak to 4 games as both teams, John Jay and CSI, come in undefeated here this afternoon in conference play. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike Babusky along with Joe Foreman. And, you know, Joe, the CSI Dolphins came in, got off to a good start in their first game of the season, dropped a couple of tough games, but they're now undefeated in their last 3 games and have not given up a goal in any of those 3 victories.
Well, you mentioned the Dolphins opening the season with a pair of wins followed by a pair of losses. They've bounced back from that pair of losses very nicely. You mentioned they have not surrendered a goal, but they've also scored 17 goals over those last 3 games, including 4-0 victories over Sarah Lawrence and SUNY Cobblescale, and then a big 9-0 victory over CCNY 3 days ago. So the Dolphins will look to extend their overall winning streak to 4 games here this afternoon and, of course, remain perfect in the CUNYAC Conference.
And they'll face a John Jay Bloodhound team today on this CUNYAC Game of the Week that also is coming off of a big win in their first conference game as they were able to defeat Lehman College 4-3. So a good start here in the home opener for the CUNYAC season for the CSI Dolphins.
And I think a good place to start in analyzing today's matchup between the Bloodhounds and the Dolphins is taking a quick look back at last year's matchup, a game played here at the CSI Soccer Complex. That game, a scoreless tie. So neither team able to put a goal up on the scoreboard in that game, despite CSI possessing a 15-shot advantage. They outshot the Bloodhounds 24-9 in that game. 8 of the Dolphins' 24 shots on goal. Only 1 shot on goal for John Jay in that match. So the Dolphins possessed a distinct advantage in the shots category last year. Unfortunately, that didn't translate into goals for the College of Staten Island. They'll hope to change that today.
Yeah, and you know, Joe, we're looking very early in the CUNYAC season, of course, and you know, we'll take a look at the opening game, which really took place on Wednesday for most of the conference. And, you know, Hunter won their first game, defeated Medgar Evers 3-0. Staten Island defeated CCNY 9-0. Brooklyn over York 2-1. John Jay beat Lehman 4-3, and NYU beat Baruch in a non-conference game 3-2. So looking early in conference play, we see 3 road wins as both Hunter, CSI, and Brooklyn all won on the road in their opening conference games.
Well, you mentioned John Jay's victory over Lehman. We'll take a look at that matchup quickly coming into today's action between the Dolphins and Bloodhounds. And taking a look at that matchup between the Lightning and the Bloodhounds, a very competitive game. But John Jay in the second half came storming back. They trailed 1-0 at halftime, but came out strong in the second half. They quickly scored 3 goals to open up play in the second half. Lehman did battle back and put 2 goals on the scoreboard beyond the 80th minute. John Jay was tied with the Lightning at that point, but John Jay broke through with a big goal, a game winner in the 88th minute by Andrew DeCanio, and that goal put the Bloodhounds over the Lightning by a score of 4-3. Taking a quick look at the numbers in that game, John Jay with 18 shots, 14 of those on goal, 9 of those shots in each half, and the Lightning with 12 shots, 8 on goal. So a lot of shots taken between those 2 teams in that game, a lot of goals scored. The Bloodhounds proving that they can put goals up on the scoreboard. The Dolphins will hope to slow them down this afternoon.
Yeah, and you know, that ended a 4-game losing streak for the Bloodhounds, so that was a big win for them and a nice win for them to start out their conference at home against Lehman College. And, you know, we look for the time update for the start of today's game. We'll be starting at approximately 1:10 or so, so we'll have a few extra minutes to talk CUNYAC soccer with you. And, you know, Joe, we should go back to the Dolphins' last game. They went on the road. They went to Randall's Island facing a CCNY team that traditionally has been a very good team in the conference, but the Dolphins were able to come out, get that goal by Philip Lefkowitz in the 17th minute, and then they really never looked back as they were able to ride a hat trick by Joe Borella, another goal by Bryant Navarro, and Dolphins continue to play well as they dominated the Beavers in that game by a score of 9-0 as you have an opportunity to take a look at the overall CUNYAC standings. Still very early this year.
Of course, very early, Mike. No team having played more than 1 conference game. Of course, that will change here today. especially, of course, for the Dolphins and the Bloodhounds. But taking a look at this matchup in depth a bit more, I spoke about how John Jay can really put goals up on the scoreboard, piled up the shots, and, of course, the goals against the Lightning in that matchup against Lehman College. But the Dolphins also come in having been a prolific scoring attack. Dolphins come in averaging 4 goals per game. Of course, that number inflated a bit by that last matchup with the Beavers 3 days ago, but the Dolphins still averaging 4 goals per game and out-shooting the opposition in total shots by over 100 shots on the season. So the Dolphins have done a great job putting shots toward goal and on goal and scoring, of course, so far in this 2018 season. A big reason why they enter play today with a 3-game winning streak, though, of course, the defense played a role in that as well. They have not allowed a goal in those last 3 games, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, Joe, the Dolphins have outscored their opponents this year by a total of 28-9, and, that's a very big goal differential. And, Bryant Navarro leading the team with 7 goals, and Joe Boella right behind him with 5, picking up that hat trick earlier this week against CCNY. And, Brentley Salas has really played extremely well offensively this year, picking up 3 assists. And Philip Lefkowitz, and we had an opportunity to talk a little bit with head coach John Tardy about Phil before the start of the game. He's really bounced back and, really showing the speed and quickness that he had as a freshman before his leg injury, and, just adding more firepower to this CSI Dolphins team. And, you mentioned, Joe, the 0-0 game between John Jay last year between these two opponents. And, I think that this Dolphin team is a little bit better at putting the ball into the net. We saw a lot of games last year where the Dolphins would have a lot of opportunities that they wouldn't necessarily take advantage of, and missing the net and, not necessarily taking advantage of all their opportunities. This team much more opportunistic.
And you mentioned several names on this Dolphins roster contributing to the Dolphins' attack so far this season. You mentioned Bryant Navarro, Joe Boella, Brenny Salas, Philip Lefkowitz, and there are several more players who've scored multiple goals, including Mackie Dagoon and Carlos Montesinos, each with a pair. Also, several players on this roster with multiple assists. Counting quickly, I see 6 players with at least a pair of assists so far in the season. Not going to go through all of those names, but the point is, top to bottom, there are contributors on this Dolphins roster. We've seen the effectiveness of their attack in their last 3 games, and of course, defensively, as I mentioned before, haven't surrendered a goal in 3 games. This Dolphins attack should be able to keep up with what appeared to be a high-octane attack for the John Jay College Bloodhounds entering today's game, coming off a match in which they scored 4 goals.
And, Joe, we always talk about it. Everything in soccer starts from goal on out, and Christian Carucci, coming in as a true freshman this year, has really played extremely well in goal. And, one of the things that you've noticed about Christian during the course of this 2018 season, he doesn't make that big mistake.
He hasn't. And taking a look at a lot of the Dolphins games here, actually, I don't see one Dolphins matchup that was decided by a goal. So the Dolphins haven't had much pressure on Christian Carucci so far in games that they've led this season. The Dolphins have been playing from ahead by multiple goals in the majority of their games, and that certainly helps a goalkeeper, but that doesn't take away from what Carucci has done so far this season. He's only allowed about 1.3 goals per game, and the Dolphins have done a great job for him defensively as well. As I've already mentioned several times, kept quality shots from being put toward him on a consistent basis throughout their games, and that's, of course, been a big help to Carucci as well.
Yeah, and you got to talk about the back line of the Dolphins. Miguel Morales in the lineup the last few games really has done a great job that back line for the CSI Dolphins.
And the Dolphins have gotten contributions across the board defensively. Joe Albanese, of course, on that back line as well. Ryan Lehman and Manny Mudu has come into several games, seen him give some quality minutes for the Dolphins off of the bench. You mentioned Miguel Morales, so a lot of names. Wilson Quintero as well. So many different contributors for this Dolphins team, and these are names we've said many times throughout Dolphins broadcasts, highlighting them for making good defensive plays. And of course, Christian Carucci in goal has been staffed for the Dolphins as well. CSI comes into this game playing extremely well, really clicking on all cylinders so far this season. They haven't had any exceptionally bad games, haven't surrendered more than 3 goals in a game so far this season, and have scored at least 4 goals 4 times so far in 2018. They've also scored 3 goals in a game. So the Dolphins have been a team that can put goals up on the scoreboard, but has gotten quality defensive play to go along with it.
Yeah, and we should mention, Joe, it'll be Jake Foltz in goal for the Dolphins this afternoon. So Carucci will not be between the pipes as Jake gets an opportunity to get his first start here of the 2018 season.
And taking a look at the starting lineup for the Dolphins, Foldis is listed up here at the top of that lineup as 00, but down at the bottom, Carucci is listed as the goalkeeper. So we'll have to double check with that. Both names in the lineup for the Dolphins. Carucci listed at the top of our starting lineup sheet as a substitute, but I'm sure it is Carucci in goal.
I think you're right, Joe.
He has started all of the games in between the pipes for the Dolphins so far this season, so we would presume that it is Christian Carucci in goal for the Dolphins today, though we will double-check on that for you. I'll do that right now, Mike.
And while you're doing that, Joe, an opportunity to talk about a couple of the newcomers onto the CSI Dolphin team. Carlos Montesinos, Mackie Dragoon, both really playing really good soccer for the Dolphins here in this 2018 season, and they've really added so much to this team, Joe, talking about Montesinos and Dragoon. Very physical presence, both players really all over the field, and both players that seem to constantly find their way into the middle of the action.
And you highlighted several goal scorers for the Dolphins, but we can add Mackie Dragoon and Carlos Montesinos to that. Both have scored a pair of goals so far this season. You mentioned Brenny Salas has also been very effective for the Dolphins. He has 4 goals and 3 assists. Salas, primarily a substitute last year, has gotten more consistent minutes so far in 2018, and he's really rewarded John Tardy's confidence in him with stellar play throughout this 2018 season. 3rd on the team in goals and 2nd on the team in assists. But I've said it time and time again about this Dolphins team. Contributors top to bottom on this roster. You can really look at just about any player on this roster who has seen the field so far this season, and the Dolphins have gotten either a goal or an assist out of most of them, of course excluding a lot of that back line. But the Dolphins midfielders and forwards have been stellar so far, and the goal-scoring numbers attest to that.
And let's turn our attention, Joe, to the Bloodhounds here for a couple of minutes. John Jay coming in with a record of 2-4 on the year. They won their opening game against Purchase College, but then dropped 4 games in a row before defeating Lehman College by a score of 4-3. But you look at this Lightning team, they've only scored 7 goals on the year, Joe, so 4 of those goals in their last game against Lehman College. And we mentioned before the firepower that the Dolphins are able to bring out. The Bloodhounds are also going to need the ability to put goals on the scoreboard here this afternoon.
We mentioned the big goal-scoring effort for the Bloodhounds against Lehman, but as you said, Mike, only 7 goals on the season for John Jay, 4 of them coming against the Lightning, and that leaves them with a goals-for average of about 1.17, and I think it's safe to say that probably won't get it done against this prolific Dolphins attack in today's game. Though we saw that scoreless tie between these two teams last year, and anything is possible, I would say it's highly unlikely that 1 goal will be enough to defeat the College of Staten Island in this game here today, though John Jay has only allowed about 1.83 goals per game, still a negative differential of about 0.7, but John Jay, I think, certainly will have to be better on the attack in today's game than they have so far this season in order to come away with a victory over the College of Staten Island.
So we're about 5 minutes or so away from the start of this game here this afternoon. Why don't we step aside, we'll take a break, and then we'll be back to bring you the starting lineups and the start of this afternoon's game as you're watching the CUNYAC Game of the Week right here on your voice of everything CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
No one ever won a race because it was their turn. And guzzling the right sports drink never won all 3 sets. You can't talk your way through a tournament, and luck doesn't last. Real champions know that it takes more to do more, because wanting it just isn't good enough. You've got to be smarter, faster, tougher. After all, if championships were easy, everybody would have one. City University of New York Athletic Conference. Learn, play, succeed.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast. Was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
We're back live from the CSI Soccer Complex, and we're just moments away from the start of this afternoon's game between the College of Staten Island and the John Jay Bloodhounds here on the CUNYAC Game of the Week from the CSI Soccer Complex. And, you know, Joe, just about 90 seconds or so before we get ready for the introductions, what do you expect out of the Dolphins and the Bloodhounds here this afternoon?
Well, the Dolphins have been prolific on the attack, and I think it's safe to say we can expect more of the same from them in this game. Of course, the Dolphins will be aggressive on the attack. John Jay, though, a team that allows about 1.8 goals per game so far this season, they'll be looking to slow down this prolific Dolphins attack, and hopefully for them they don't get on the defensive too much because they need to put up goals in order to defeat this College of Staten Island team. And if you're John Jay, as I said before, you have to be better than about 1.2 goals per game. You'll probably need at least 2 or 3 to defeat the College of Staten Island in this one. I don't expect another scoreless tie, but Mike, as we've said time and time again, you really never know what to expect in these conference games. A lot of the time, they can go either way, and I think today's game fits that description.
Yeah, and you know, Joe, the College of Staten Island has not allowed a goal since September 9th in their 3-1 defeat against Rowan, and up until their 4-3 victory against Lehman College, the Bloodhounds were shut out in 3 consecutive games. So, you know, again, for the Bloodhounds, it's going to be a question of can they find the offensive firepower to deal with the Dolphins here this afternoon.
And taking a look at this Bloodhounds roster, a select few players the Dolphins should look to key in on. Nicholas Towler with a pair of goals and 1 assist so far. James Haddad also with a pair of goals and 1 assist. And then 3 other players with a single goal for this John Jay team. But those 3 players with a single goal have taken 6, 17, and 10 shots respectively. Towler and Haddad, the 2 players who have scored a pair of goals, have taken 8 and 7 shots respectively. So the Dolphins really have 5 players they can key in on this John Jay roster. And taking a look down the roster, I only see 1 other player on this Bloodhounds team who has taken double-digit shots so far this season. So if you're the Dolphins, there are some faces you can key in on. I just mentioned some of them, and I think the Dolphins would be wise to keep a close eye on those players in the attacking third.
And Joe, as both teams get their final instructions and get ready for the introductions, why don't we bring you the starting lineups for today's game? And here to bring them to you, my broadcast partner, Joe Foreman. Joe?
All right, thank you, Mike. And in numerical order for the John Jay College Bloodhound, you see those starters on your screen. It will be number 1, Stephen Towler; number 3, Michael DeMarco; number 4, Nicholas Towler; number 5, Andrew DeCanio; number 6, Mergen Mehmedi; number 7, James Haddad; number 10, Albert Karapetayan; number 19, Arda Yazici; number 24, Chris Toledo; number 25, Peter Cisse; and number 26, Ahmad Abdallah.
The campus of the College of Staten Island.
And for the College of Staten Island, in goal it will be 0, Christian Carucci. The rest of the starters in numerical order: number 6, Mackie Dagoon; number 7, Carlos Montesinos; number 11, Ryan Lehman; number 12, Bryant Navarro; number 15, Joe Balella; number 16, Philip Lefkowitz; number 17, Wilson Quintero; number 21, Eric Condi; number 23, Mike Arianis; and number 27, Miguel Morales.
And, you know, Joe, you look at that CSI starting lineup and you look at the 2 players out in front, Navarro and Boella. Those players already combining for 12 goals for the Dolphins here through their first 7 games.
And you said it, Mike. Navarro and Balella have been the leaders of this Dolphins attack, but taking a look at the starting lineup, those aren't the only 2 names that jump out. We've seen Mike Arianis come in as a substitute very often this season. Also, Mackie Dagoon has been a frequent substitute for the College of Staten Island as well. So John Tardy proving that he can go with many different combinations. We spoke about this during the pregame. The Dolphins getting contributions from top to bottom on their roster, and their starting lineup today attests to that. We can see that Tardy is comfortable going with many different faces and combinations for this Dolphins starting lineup, and this is a lineup that I'm not sure we've seen so far in 2018.
Yeah, you know, Joe, it's a team that had 6 players in the lineup already that have scored multiple goals here in 2018, and, you know, that's the kind of diverse firepower that, you know, you're looking for as a head coach, and, you know, and the way Navarro's playing, he's really stepped to the forefront as a top-flight striker within the conference.
He has, and the Dolphins, again, time and time again, have gotten goals from many different sources. We said it during the pregame. Navarro, Balella, Salas, Lefkowitz, Dagoon, Montesinos, all with multiple goals so far this season. And as we said before, 2 goals may be enough against this Bloodhounds team in this game as the Dolphins are being introduced on the field right now. And I think, as I mentioned before, John Tardy and the Dolphins coaching staff will be looking for more of the same stellar attacking play we've seen from the College of Staten Island over the last 3 games. John Jay will hope to hold the Dolphins under 2 goals, something that they've done in the majority of their games this season to the opposition, though it's easier said than done against this College of Staten Island team.
Yeah, it really is. And, this team comes at you from so many ways. And, the difference, I think the team has been playing very well in the midfield this year, Joe, as well.
And we've said it during our previous broadcasts many times. Both the men and women's teams done a great job winning the ball in midfield. And sometimes those opportunities, winning the ball in the midfield, can turn into a quick attacking play. And how many times have we seen plays in the midfield turn into late goals at the end of a half? I believe it was either a game or 2 ago that we covered here. We've covered 2 games so far here at the CSI Soccer Complex this season. I'm not sure if it was the first or the second, but either way, in one of those games, the Dolphins were looking to shift momentum in their favor right before the half, and I believe it was Mike Arianis who came up with a late goal right before halftime, swinging the momentum of that game in the Dolphins' favor. I'll have to check back and see which match that was, but those late half goals can be such momentum killers for the opposition and swing the momentum in the favor of the team that scores them, and we've seen that in many of the games we've covered this season, both men and women's soccer.
Yeah, is Miguel Morales, the final player to be introduced here for the Dolphins this afternoon. The Dolphins coming into this game really red hot, Joe, and have won their last 3 games in a row, but as we mentioned, have not given up a goal in any of those 3 victories.
They haven't. As I said before during the pregame, that was a testament to their defensive play, but I do want to mention very quickly, we did have another game here today prior to the start of this matchup between the Bloodhounds and Dolphins. It was the women of Medgar Evers taking on the College of Staten Island. Once again, a big win for the Dolphins over the Cougars. I believe the final score in that one was 12-0. Of course, we didn't cover that game here on CSI Sportsnet, but we were on hand for it. The women continue their strong play. The men will hope to do the same momentarily as we're about to get underway.
Yeah, and, we'll hopefully have an opportunity to talk about the women's CUNYAC play later on in the broadcast, but the CSI women's team, Joe, really red hot, winning their 5th consecutive game. They're undefeated in the conference, and, as the 3-time defending CUNYAC champions, we haven't seen anything in the women's play yet that does anything but make them the favorite to win their 4th in a row.
And you're absolutely right about that, Mike. Samantha Laval already has 13 goals. Added a quick one in that matchup against the Cougars earlier this morning and immediately was pulled from the game. So Laval gets an extended rest ahead of a difficult matchup coming up on Monday at William Patterson. So that game will be very telling for this Dolphins team to see where they stand. But in the CUNYAC, as you just mentioned, there's no reason to believe the Dolphins aren't the favorite. They won their first conference matchup against John Jay back on Wednesday. Now 2-0 in the conference following that victory versus Medgar Evers today, and they have a matchup with York coming up on Wednesday, September 26th as well. That match follows the match on Monday at William Patterson. So the Dolphins still have several conference games left to play, but as you said, Mike, I like the women's chances in the CUNYAC this year to make it 4 straight CUNYAC championships.
Yeah, and another beautiful day here today, Joe, mid-September, fall afternoon at the CSI Soccer Complex, but nice sunny skies, a little bit breezy this afternoon, Joe, but overall another great day for soccer.
And we've had excellent weather so far for the majority of our broadcasts this year. Unfortunately, we couldn't broadcast one women's game against Ramapo due to weather, but we are underway this afternoon. John Jay, College of Staten Island, CUNYAC game of the week.
So the Dolphins will go from right to left, the Bloodhounds from left to right here this afternoon. Bloodhounds will have the wind at their back here in the first half as the Dolphins move the ball back and begin their first attack of the afternoon as Morales putting the ball all the way onto the left side of the field. Condi with his first touch of the afternoon, bringing the ball up the near side as the Dolphins get the ball across the midfield line. Pass looking that time for Montesinos, but play back in midfield for Condi. Dolphins looking to set up as it's Lefkowitz in the center of the field. Nice pass down the far side as the Dolphins onside, and the shot towards goal is a save, and the rebound is drilled into the net as that time Trowler able to make the first save, but not able to make the second, and the Dolphins take a 1-0 lead.
Well, I said 2 goals might not be enough for John Jay, and the Dolphins are quickly on the scoreboard early in this one. That ball careened around in front, but the Dolphins ultimately able to put it into the back of the net, and it looks like John Jay is disputing the goal call. Perhaps they wanted an offsides on the player in front. We'll see if the call has changed. John Jay protesting this one vociferously down there, but I'm not sure they'll get the call, Mike.
Well, they're not going to get the call. The flag never went up, but you could see when the ball was played into the Bloodhound defensive zone that they were looking for the offsides, and they slowed down a little bit. And, you know, you can never assume the flag, and that time the Bloodhounds may have assumed it a little bit, but the Dolphins able to bring the ball right into the center of the penalty area and put it back into the back of the net, and the Dolphins take a 1-0 lead. We'll wait for the official scoring.
And I have to mention Eric Condi navigated the midfield very well. They're getting that attack started. Ultimately, they found, I believe it was Wilson Quintero along the far sideline. He moved it ahead. A great cross in front. Stellar attacking play from the Dolphins to open up this match.
Yeah, and, you know, the Dolphins, who have been playing so well, Joe, and coming off of that big 9-0 victory. And, you know, if you're the Bloodhounds, you really wanted to kind of try to slow that game down, but a great start for the CSI Dolphins.
And John Jay, as I mentioned during the pregame, has only allowed just shy of 2 goals so far per game this season, and they've already allowed 1 in the first minute of this matchup. So they'll have some work to do on the attack to get back into this game early before the Dolphins can add to their lead.
Cartapian looking to play the ball through. A lot of physical play on both sides, and the foul will be called on the Dolphins. So it will be Lefkowitz with the official goal and Navarro getting the assist. So once again, Joe, a nice offensive play, and Philip Lefkowitz continuing his real strong play this year for the Dolphins. And, you know, we mentioned in the pregame, Joe, how well he's played in this 2018 season, and he picks up his 4th goal of the year as that ball is drilled over the top, and it'll be a free kick opportunity for the Dolphins. So big start for CSI.
And if I saw that play correctly, I believe it was a cross into Navarro. He then fired the shot, which was saved. It rebounded to Lefkowitz, or maybe even went directly to Lefkowitz. I'm not sure if that initial shot by Navarro found its way on goal, but either way, Lefkowitz credited with the goal. He continues his stellar season. Of course, missed the last game we covered, enters the lineup in a big way in today's matchup.
Yeah, and, you know, again, the Bloodhounds looking for that offside flag, and the Dolphins continue to play forward. And the Dolphins take a 1-0 lead as it's Dragoon in midfield. Unable to maintain possession. A long pass looking for Cartapian. Cartapian with a little bit of space, but his shot goes wide. And that time he was able to get a little bit of space and fired that shot past the near post.
And a good ball up front to Karapetian on the attack. Unfortunately, he lost his footing a bit, and that shot went well wide. Nice save by a fan just beyond the railing, getting that ball back in play for us quickly.
So it'll be the Dolphins with possession of the ball on to the near sideline as it's Condi. Condi playing the ball into the center of the field to Lefkowitz. Lefkowitz picked up his 4th goal in the first minute here as they play the ball down onto the near sideline looking for Boella. Boella trying to break through the Bloodhound defense. It's going to be knocked out of bounds, but it'll be a throw-in deep inside Bloodhound territory. Lefkowitz comes in to take the throw, and he has the ability to throw it all the way into the penalty area as he does so there, but the Bloodhound's able to head the ball out. As Dragoon tried to play the ball in, and now it's going to be the Dolphins looking to play it forward. And so far, Joe, the Bloodhounds haven't really been able to get any consistent passing plays going or get any strong opportunity at the Dolphin goal.
It's really been that one good ball as the Dolphins have another chance here, and that's saved. Nice save there by Towler, a quickly developing attack for the Dolphins, and Lefkowitz nearly picked up his second.
Yeah, big opportunity that time for the Dolphins once again as he was able to break in and get that ball right into the net, toward the net, but Towler able to knock the ball away, but another corner kick opportunity here for the Dolphins, who have come out and really played strong here through the first 4.5 minutes. Lefkowitz takes that corner. It's actually played in front by a Bloodhound defender, and down onto the foot of Quintero, now into front once again. And once again, Towler has to be there to make the play.
Well, Stephen Towler's been forced to be very active in goals so far. Right there, it was Joe Balella who got ahead on it. That was on goal, and nearly the second Dolphins goal once again, as Lefkowitz had a chance just moments ago. Balella follows that up with a chance of his own.
So the Dolphins creating a few opportunities for themselves, already credited with 3 shots on goal here in just over 5 minutes play. Bloodhounds playing the ball out over to the far side. It's DeMarco, and it's going to be knocked out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in here for the Bloodhounds. But early possession all in favor of the Dolphins, Joe.
And you're absolutely right about that, Mike. Only one good opportunity for John Jay, and that went by the wayside quickly as the shot was well wide. The attacker lost his footing, and other than that, it's been all Dolphins.
Dolphins looking to continue to pressure in the midfield. That ball will be knocked out of play over the far touchline, so Dolphins will be going back to defend as the Bloodhounds will throw the ball in. So a free kick opportunity here for the Bloodhounds, and let's see if they take this opportunity to play the ball deep. They will, and they get the ball deep into the Dolphin penalty area all the way on goal, and Carucci makes his first save of the afternoon.
A lot of traffic in front there. I believe that was off Haddad of the Bloodhounds toward goal for the Dolphins. No shot credited as he wasn't facing the net.
Ball's going to be played out of bounds over the far sideline. Dolphins try to throw it in quickly, but the official's going to step in and overturn the call, and it'll make it a throw-in now for John Jay. Plenty of action in the CUNYAC conference today on both the men's and women's side. Full slate of games. 4 games on the women's side, 5 on the men's side as conference play starts to get underway, Joe. And, we talk about it all the time, how quickly this season goes. Soccer season very abbreviated, and now the conference play will really start to pick up.
It certainly moves by fast, Mike, and of course conference play not getting underway until about mid-September. It's always important to open up the conference portion of your schedule well, and the Dolphins will look to make it 2-0 in this one. Same goes for the Bloodhounds, both teams looking to remain unbeaten in the CUNYAC.
Bloodhounds looking to counterattack quickly now, and they had a little bit of space, but a good defensive play that time by the Dolphins, and they're able to get the ball up to Arianes. Dolphins breaking through once again. This time the flag went up for the offsides. And, once again, Joe, you saw a lot of Bloodhounds putting their hands up but not really paying attention to running back. And that time they got the call. It looked fairly close from here.
It was close, Mike, and I believe it was the first game that we covered this year against St. Joseph's College of Brooklyn that this Dolphins team played. Offsides was really the only big issue, and we called that nitpicking a bit as the Dolphins won that game 6-2. But offsides certainly a problem in that game, something the Dolphins hope to correct moving forward.
That ball headed up as the Bloodhounds try to move the ball quickly, but instead it's going to be played away, and now it's Lefkowitz in the center of the field for the Dolphins. Lefkowitz looked to take the ball back to the midfield line. Instead, Dragoon comes back to play the ball for the Dolphins. And now it'll be Lehman. As the Dolphins look to get the ball to Boella. It'll roll through, and it'll be played back by the Bloodhound defense as they get the ball forward now to Decano. Decano, a long ball over to Haddad. Haddad with space. Morales able to come back and shoulder him off the ball. It'll roll out of bounds, so it'll be a free kick opportunity here for the Bloodhounds. And, Joe, John Jay has found a little bit of success with those long balls into the Dolphin offensive zone.
And that seems to be their plan of attack right now. A good job by Miguel Morales cutting off the angle there, not giving Haddad a chance to play that ball in front of goal, though I don't think he had much help on that attack. Good defensive play by Morales, and I'm sure John Jay will be looking for more of those long balls. They appear to be effective so far.
Carucci, a long ball into the center of the field, and Arianes getting the ball forward, looking for Montesinos. But instead the Bloodhounds will be there to play the ball. But it's going to be Dragoon who's taken down hard in the center of the field. No call on the play. Toledo passing the ball back, and now a couple of quick passes as the Bloodhounds look to turn defense to offense. But that ball will get caught up in the wind and roll out of bounds, and it'll be another free kick opportunity here for the Dolphins. In the 10th minute, Dolphins with a Philip Lefkowitz goal in the first minute, his 4th, and the Dolphins lead 1-0.
And it looks like the Bloodhounds have slowed down the Dolphins just a bit these last couple of minutes, perhaps settled down and are a bit more locked in defensively, because the Dolphins really came out with an attacking onslaught early in this one.
Dolphins playing the ball back to Carucci, and the Dolphins give the ball away as that's Koptanian with a little bit of space, and his shot in the box is going to be knocked out of bounds, but Dolphins are going to give away a corner there, Joe. A little bit sloppy in the back on that play for the Dolphins.
And I believe once again it was against St. Joseph's College of Brooklyn. We saw a pair of Dolphins miscues in the back. One of those led to a goal. I don't believe the second one did, but we've seen some issues. That time it was a pass from goalkeeper Kristen Carucci. Luckily for the Dolphins, they're able to recover and clear that ball for the corner.
So it's going to be a corner kick opportunity here for the Bloodhounds, as few players getting tangled up in front. So the official will have to step in as we get ready for the corner kick, the first corner kick of the afternoon for the Bloodhounds.
And I think the clock has been stopped, Mike, and it looks like Christian Carucci getting a talking to from the head official. And we saw the game against SUNY Cobleskill back on September 15th get a bit physical at one point. Some shoves exchanged. Of course, we don't want to see that again. And hopefully the official gets on top of this early and prevents any further physicality of that nature.
So it looks like Nicholas Taller, the brother of the goalie Steven Taller, will take the corner kick as he winds that ball toward the far post, but it'll be up over goal and out of play. So it'll be a free kick for the Dolphins, and, not really the play, Joe, you're looking for if you're the John Jay Bloodhounds.
Well, of course, you don't want to see that one travel over the back of the net, not giving any of your attackers a chance to get a footer ahead on it, and that's exactly what happened on that corner. Nowhere for the Bloodhounds to go with it, and the Dolphins will take this goal kick quickly.
So the Dolphins will play the ball over to the far side of the field.
She's going.
And now it's going to be Condi. Condi looking to get the ball up the near sideline, looking that time for Boella, but the pass is going to be knocked away and skied up out of bounds that time. So it's going to be a throw-in, I should say, for the Bloodhounds. As that ball's going to be knocked out of bounds. It was last touched by Cisse. So the Dolphins, Condi to throw the ball in. Dragoon in midfield, a nice pass to open up that Bloodhound defense, and a beautiful feed inside, and that's going to be rolled into goal beautifully that time by Joe Boella, as the Dolphins will take a 2-0 lead. What a beautiful play that time by the Dolphins, Joe, for goal number 2.
And it all started with an excellent navigation of midfield once again. This time by Mackie Dragoon, makes a great move to get by 3 challenging defenders, and then finds Joe Boella with the pass through beyond the back line. Goalkeeper Steven Taller tried to come out and meet that ball, couldn't get there in time. Here's another look.
Yeah, as we have an opportunity to see that ball get played into the center of the field, and then you see Dragoon able to step through a couple of Bloodhounds, and then you really see the defense open up, and what a beautiful look-away pass by Dragoon to get that ball over to Boella, and he made no mistake. Taller had no chance, and the Dolphins open up their 2-0 lead.
I don't think we can understate what a great play that was by Mackie Dragoon. Excellent dribbling, then had the presence of mind to find Boella and put him through perfectly. And goalkeeper Steven Taller, as I mentioned, could not get there in time. Made the decision to come out on it quickly, but not quickly enough, apparently, as Boella beat him to that ball.
Yeah, and, although Dragoon gets the only assist on the play officially, Joe, it was another couple of nice passes that got the ball to Dragoon in the first place. And, really, once he stepped inside those 2 John Jay defenders, the Bloodhounds really just turned and ran back, and the defense you could just see open apart. And it was really, like you mentioned, a real fabulous pass that time by Dragoon.
And it seemed like the back line had assumed that Dragoon would lose the ball, as we have some dispute over a non-call on the foul. A lot of unhappy Dolphins fans, including head coach John Tardy. But as I was saying, it looked like that back line thought that their defense in the midfield would make that play, as you get a look at the shot total for both sides, and perhaps the back line thinking that the midfielders would come away with that ball, eased up just a bit, and that was enough for Boella to get through and beat goalkeeper Steven Taller to the ball.
Yeah, so another nice play by the Dolphins, another goal with an assist attached to it, as the Dolphins continue to play well, as they have outscored their opponents 11-0 here so far, Joe, in the first 105 minutes of conference play.
And they've been on a roll. Of course, huge win over CCNY, and maybe on their way to another big win. The Bloodhounds hoping that they have something to say about that as they look to move in the other direction.
Nice play by Dragoon to step forward. and knocked that ball away momentarily, and now the ball is going to be played out towards the Dolphin defensive zone, but nothing but Dolphin jerseys there as Lehman there to play the ball back over to Morales. Morales getting the ball back up over to Lehman. A lot of room in the back for the Dolphins to operate as they're going to get a long ball that time looking for Montesinos, but the ball a little bit too far and Trowell able to come out and make the play.
And the more the Dolphins build this lead, the deeper and deeper that back line can drop. They were pretty far back on that last sequence, then attempted the long pass, and that one over the head of Haddad of the Bloodhounds into the arms of Christian Carucci. But the Dolphins can really afford to play a little bit further back defensively as they build a bigger lead. Their attacking play has been solid, and of course their defensive play on point so far in this one.
Lehman's breakout pass is going to be knocked away, but Navarro back to play the ball for the Dolphins. Navarro has the ball stripped away, and coming in with the ball is Haddad. Haddad looking for some space. He's not able to find it, but the ball's going to be knocked out of bounds once again, and Dolphins for the second time, Joe, in 15 minutes, make a mistake that cost them a corner kick.
And the issues for the Dolphins in the back really haven't been marking the attackers. It's been passing the ball and handling the ball. We've seen several mistakes, one by Christian Carucci in this game, one right there, but earlier in the season we saw that problem rear its head as well.
So it's going to be a corner kick here for the Bloodhounds as they pass that ball all the way across. Carucci able to get a hand on it, but he can't hold it, so that will lead to a corner kick. But they'll switch sides of the field here as the Bloodhounds will have an opportunity for their third corner kick here in this first half.
And you hate to concede a corner kick that way as that ball was secured in Carucci's hands, but tried to dance along the touchline, couldn't keep his feet in, made like a wide receiver on that one, but the lines judge on our side of the field saying that Carucci did indeed step over the boundary.
So another corner kick coming up here for the Bloodhounds. As that one's taken all the way across past the far post, it goes over the head of everyone and out of bounds. So it'll be a free kick opportunity here for the Dolphins.
And the Bloodhounds not giving themselves any opportunities on any of these three corners. Really nothing that was playable for any of the Bloodhound attackers in front. It was a crowded area in front of the net there, but on all three corners, they've either sailed up and over or sailed too far out of the reach of the Bloodhounds attackers, and the Dolphins once again will have a goal kick.
So Carucci will bring the ball back and get ready to take the free kick here for the Dolphins. Dolphins with 4 shots on goal. Bloodhounds still looking for their first shot officially. Dolphins with 2 goals in those 4 shots, and they lead by a score of 2-0. Condi heading the ball into the center of the field. It's knocked away and stolen, and here come the Dolphins looking to attack once again as Montesinos' pass will be a little bit too far ahead, and once again Tyler able to come out and make the play. Giveaway by the Bloodhounds deep in their defensive zone, but Lefkowitz's header not able to be corralled that time and played by Boella, so it'll be a throw-in for the Bloodhounds. Condi knocking the ball out of bounds. They were trying to get the ball into Karatapian, but instead it'll be knocked out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in for the Bloodhounds as Decano comes in to take it. Abdallah working the ball back into the center of the Bloodhound defense as their long pass is going to go down the far side. And once again, the Bloodhounds putting the ball long and, finding a little bit of space when they're able to do it. But that Dolphin defense doing a nice job keeping most things way to the outside.
And we mentioned how well the Dolphins have played in the middle third of the field. That's forced the Bloodhounds to attempt many of these long passes. The Dolphins have been all over the John Jay passes in the midfield, and we've seen that translate into attacking opportunities. Just moments ago, Philip Lefkowitz put a little bit too much on a through ball that nearly could have resulted in the Dolphins' third goal had it been on target, but still a great play defensively by Lefkowitz in the midfield, giving the Dolphins that opportunity in the first place.
Ball comes back into the center of the field. Lehman there to play it as he'll swing the ball out to the near side up to Condi as Condi gets the ball to Boella. Nice defensive play that time by Decano as he tries to get the ball up the center of the field to Cisse as Bloodhound's able to get a couple of passes together, but once again the Dolphins able to play the ball away and get it over to Condi, who feeds Lefkowitz. Lefkowitz, a long pass down on the far side looking for Arianis. Arianis shoving the defender to the side and will pick up the foul on the play.
That's a tough call. Looked like the defender lost his footing, and then Arianes tried to step over him, and I think the Bloodhounds player also tried to hook Arianes with his leg, but he had already gotten the call in his favor, and that wasn't necessary.
As that's going to be Mehmeti on the near side as he shouldered out of bounds by Lefkowitz, and now it's going to be stolen away and played by Boella. Boella looking to work against a couple of Bloodhound defenders, but he can't get through as Decano's pass is going to be stolen away by Condi as the Dolphins turn quickly. Navarro getting the ball out over to Montesinos. His shot across the center of the penalty area is knocked away, but they cannot be cleared as that's going to be Quintero. Arianes getting the ball back to Quintero. He has a little bit of space. He gets it in front, and the ball rebounds to Navarro, and he makes no mistake at all as he drills that one into the back of the net for his 8th goal of the year, and just like that, the College of Staten Island leads by a score of 3-0.
And the Dolphins continue to pile it on. Great passing in front, especially that ball, I believe, was from Carlos Montesinos right across the front of the goal, ultimately finding the foot of Bryant Navarro, and it got by the diving goalkeeper, Stephen Taller. He tried to get a hand on it as that ball went in front of him, and we'll get another look at it.
Yeah, as you know, the Bloodhounds got a foot on the ball, but not enough to clear it. And, you know, once again, Arianes was able to play the ball forward, and Dolphins able to get the ball right into the center of the penalty area. Just way too much space and way too many openings in that Bloodhound defense right in the center of the penalty area, and the Dolphins have been able to take advantage of it throughout the first 20 minutes, and they lead by a score of 3-0.
And you said it before, Mike, the Bloodhounds really throwing their arms up in the air to signal for that offsides call quickly. That was the case on that goal as well. I saw at least 3 Bloodhounds on that replay asking the officials to call that offsides, and they relented a bit defensively. They initially were able to deflect the ball out of danger in front, but then coming in and putting the shot on goal and ultimately scoring was Bryant Navarro following the play nicely, and the Dolphins have a 3-0 lead as we're just under 25 minutes to go in the first half.
Yeah, and you know, Joe, you look at those last 2 Dolphin goals especially, and just players running wide open in the box, and, you know, nobody marking them back defensively. Just way too much give in that Bloodhound back line here, Joe, through the first 21 minutes.
And like I said, I think some of that's been a product of really relenting when they think a Dolphins attacker may have been offsides. And on that goal, I think it was apparent that may have been the case, as we saw several players slow down, and that was some shot.
Yeah, that ball drilled towards goal that time by Lefkowitz. It'll be knocked out of bounds, and it'll be a free kick opportunity coming up here for the Bloodhounds. But, you know, these Dolphin opportunities in the first half with players running wide open, as you have an opportunity to see that ball drilled wide of the net. And the Dolphin offensive power continues, Joe. And, you know, we mentioned that they played very well coming into this game. They've won their last 3 games. They haven't been giving up goals, and they've been scoring goals and playing very well so far here in the first half.
And we've spoken about how well the Dolphins have played coming in, but these 2 teams last year played to a scoreless tie, and the Dolphins, as you mentioned during the pregame, a much different team this year than last, and I think right now we're seeing that. Still plenty of time left in this game for the Bloodhounds to get back in it, but it's tough to envision it the way things have gone for them defensively.
Boella trying to work his way past a couple of Bloodhounds. He's unable to do so as the Bloodhounds able to clear that ball up, as Condi looking to overlap for the Dolphins, as we're going to have a whistle and a foul that time called on Boella, who took down the Bloodhound defender, and we'll have a couple of words spoken to him from the official. But nice play in the back that time by Carucci, Joe. It happened pretty quickly on the play, as that will be the 5th Dolphin foul of the afternoon. Bloodhounds still looking for their first, but nice defensive play by Carucci. The Dolphins played the ball back. The Bloodhounds were putting some pressure on, but once again, the freshman remaining calm and making the good play.
Carucci had an attacker bearing down on him, as you said, Mike, but got rid of that ball quickly and decisively, and got an attack started there for the Dolphins for a few moments. They couldn't make anything of it, and we'll quickly get possession right back on the goal kick, as that one's fired over the touchline. Nowhere near it was, I believe, the attacker for the Bloodhounds, Albert Karapetayan.
We're at the midway point here in the first half. The Dolphins lead 3-0. As you're watching men's soccer here, the CUNYAC Game of the Week brought to you live on CSI Sportsnet. Both teams coming in with a record of 1-0, but thus far, Joe, it's been all Dolphins. Long pass looking down over to Arianis. Arianis getting the ball on the far side of the field, looking for a little bit of space. Now he feeds it over to Dragoom. Dragoom looking against a couple of Bloodhound defenders, tried to get past all three, couldn't make it past. As that ball's going to be chipped up toward the near post and headed out of bounds that time, so it'll be a free kick opportunity coming up for the Bloodhounds.
While we have a moment, we'd like to thank one of our sponsors, the Army ROTC. Register for the Army ROTC to be a leader and an officer in the U.S. Army, Army Reserve, or Army National Guard. You could also be eligible for a full tuition scholarship. Lead the team that makes a difference. Contact CUNY ROTC today at 212-650-6478. Again, that's 212-650-6478. Paid for by the United States Army.
As that ball is passed across and in towards goal, and beautiful turn and shot that time by Boella, and he forced Towler to make another save. Is another opportunity, Joe, for the CSI Dolphins.
And those opportunities have been many so far in this first half. Still, I believe no shots for John Jay, no, but one shot for John Jay, none on goal. College of Staten Island with 6 shots, all of those on goal. 3 of them have found the back of the net.
Yeah, and, you look at the Dolphins now, Joe, and they swing the ball across the side of the field, and lots of open green patch for the Dolphins as Boello trying to work his way in, and he's going to get called for the foul once again. So Dolphins continuing to pick up the fouls here in the first half, leading by a score of 3-0.
That's number 6.
As that ball is going to be knocked out of bounds, and the Dolphins wanted the throw in, and I don't think they're going to get it, as it will be an opportunity.
Sir, he took the free kick and kicked it out of bounds.
And it'll be another free kick opportunity here coming up for the Bloodhounds. 19 minutes, 50 seconds remaining here in the first half, and the Dolphins leading by a score of 3-0.
Well, I think you could hear the discrepancy there. John Tardy believing the free kick was taken and kicked out of bounds. I didn't have a look at it, as John Jay will attempt the long ball once again.
As that ball's going to be knocked out of bounds. Nice defensive play that time by the Dolphins will lead to the free kick opportunity.
And with a moment here, we would like to thank Pepsi. Pepsi is the official soft drink of the CUNY Athletic Conference. So grab a Pepsi and enjoy the rest of this one as we wind down toward 19 minutes remaining in the first half.
Carlucci hasn't been tested with a shot on goal yet, but he's still made a couple of nice plays in the net for the Dolphins as he skies that one into the midfield circle. And that time it'll be the Bloodhounds getting called for the push in the back as Montesino's able to put that ball in play about 10 yards in front of where the foul was, Joe.
Dolphins do maintain possession, however, working along the far sideline. We've seen some great attacking play from the Dolphins. Excellent passing in this game so far. The Bloodhounds really haven't had an answer for it.
Navarro, Boella, and Lefkowitz, the 3 goal scorers for the Dolphins. They lead 3-0, and they're trying to get into the attack once again. As that pass looking for Lefkowitz is knocked away, and now the Bloodhounds will look to counter. Kartapian with the ball in the center of the field, but it's Lefkowitz there to play it away once again. And Lefkowitz having a strong first half, Joe, not only scoring the goal in the first minute, but doing a good job not only in the offensive end but in the midfield as well.
And you took the words right out of my mouth, Mike. I mentioned the interception on the pass by Lefkowitz before, nearly resulting in a shot opportunity for the Dolphins, but his work in the midfield has been excellent in this game, and he now moves forward on the attack with the rest of his Dolphins team.
Boella over to Navarro looking for Dragoom. Dragoom shouldered off the ball in the penalty area, goes down, but it'll be knocked down and played back now by the Bloodhounds as they look to counter quickly. But a nice defensive play by Lehman to play it over to Condi, and now it'll be played by Boella. Boella over to Lefkowitz. Lefkowitz taken down hard that time by Cisse, so the Bloodhounds pick up their first foul of the afternoon.
And you can see this game beginning to take a physical turn, some hard challenges and tackle attempts from both teams. Foul count, Dolphins 6, John Jay 2. 17:20 to go in the first half.
Lefkowitz playing the ball all the way across onto the far side of the field. That's Quintero. Quintero looking to play the ball forward, but instead the Bloodhounds able to come away and intercept, as that's going to be played by Cisse. Cisse will roll it back to the Bloodhound defense, And now they'll look to attack from the center of the field. Nice ball down onto the front of the net. Beautiful play that time, Joe. A long pass, a header, and a shot on goal, but it went over the top. So nice. I'm sorry, Joe. Nice offensive play by the Bloodhounds.
I was just going to say, Mike, the long ball has been the best plan of attack for John Jay so far in this game, and that probably their best opportunity. I didn't catch who it was who got a foot on that. I'm trying to get a number, but that one well high and wide. I believe that was James Haddad who attempted to put that shot on goal. Could not, but a great ball redirected off the head of another attacker to him.
So substitutions for both teams. We'll get them for you in just a minute. Brentley Salas is in for Montesinos on the Dolphin side, and we'll get you the Bloodhound substitutions here in just a minute. As Lehman, a beautiful ball that time, as he was looking to get the ball in. That time to Boella, as both Boella and Lefkowitz came together. As Shattestein comes in for Momente for the Bloodhounds. And Juan Nito comes in for Ahmad Abdallah for John Jay. So a couple of substitutions there for both teams. As the Dolphins coming out, Joe, continuing to play well, and will now have a corner kick from the near side as Lefkowitz once again will come over for the corner.
Dolphins have kept the pressure on all the way from the start of this game, now through the 30th minute.
Long ball all the way across towards the far post. It's going to be headed away by the Bloodhound defense as they play the ball back up towards midfield where Lehman is there to play it for the Dolphins. Lehman, a beautiful feed that time inside to Boella, but the Dolphins called for the offsides. Nice play that time, but the Dolphins get called offsides.
Well, you have to like the attempt by Boella on the flashy passes. While we have another moment, we'll thank another one of our sponsors, Municipal Credit Union. MCU is one of the oldest and largest credit unions in the country. CUNY students and faculty are all eligible to join MCU and experience the benefits and security of credit union membership. For more information, please visit the Municipal Credit Union's website, nymcu.org. That's nymcu.org, and support the official credit union of CUNY Athletics.
As that ball is going to be played up down the near sideline as the Bloodhounds looking to attack as the Cano overlapping, but his pass is going to be stolen away, and now it's Dragoon getting the ball out to Lefkowitz. Lefkowitz looking to fly down the near sidelines. Nice sliding tackle that time by Nito, who just checked into the game for the Bloodhounds. And that will force the Dolphins to regroup on the throw-in. Lehman into the center of the field now to Morales. Morales, long ball, looking to get it to Boella. Boella looking to play it forward to himself. Instead, it's going to come down to Lefkowitz on the near side. Lefkowitz breaking into the penalty area, able to get it across. But a nice play that time by the Bloodhound defense to cut that out and play it back towards midfield.
We've seen some good balls by the Dolphins in front. Unfortunately, that time, nobody home. And last time we also saw a great ball in front. It contacted a Bloodhounds player, but then rebounded out to Bryant Navarro, who put it in and scored the goal for the Dolphins. So CSI with their 3-0 lead, still not slowing down on the attack, continuing to get quality chances.
That's Condi playing the ball forward now. He's looking to get the ball in, and the pass is going to be played now by Boella. Boella gets it inside, as I believe that was Salas with the shot. And once again, Tyler there to make the save. 13 minutes, 8 seconds remaining here in this first half. It's been all Dolphins. They haven't allowed a shot on goal, and they lead by a score of 3-0. Bloodhounds looking to build up the attack in from the back, and it's going to be played right into the center of the pitch now and over onto the near sideline, as that's Nito. Nito's pass is going to be knocked away, but the Bloodhounds able to come away with the ball momentarily, as that's going to be Cisse in the center of the field, but Dragoon able to come over and play it. Turns quickly and gets the ball to Navarro as the Dolphins turn from defense to offense quickly. Navarro. Cisse able to come back and play the ball away. Long pass looking for the streaking Bloodhound, but instead it's Morales stepping forward to knock the ball away. Arianis with space. Beautiful feed into the penalty area. That shot's going to be knocked away, and the Bloodhound's able to keep it in on the far side of the field. That pass is going to be rolled forward and out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in here for the Dolphins. As we're under 12 minutes remaining here in this first half. Morales in the center of the field. Now it's going to be Lehman. Look at all the space, Joe, for the Dolphins defense to operate right at the midfield line, as that ball's going to be knocked out of bounds, and it's going to be a throw-in opportunity for the Dolphins.
And the Dolphins have really stonewalled every passing attempt by John Jay in the midfield. And as I said before, that's forced the Bloodhounds to try and attempt long balls over the top as the Dolphins look to regain possession there and could not. But on that last sequence, the Dolphins only had 2 in the back, and that looks like it's the case once again. Condi a bit beyond midfield.
Beautiful play that time into Boella, and we're going to have a whistle, and I believe we're going to have a foul on the call, and it will be a card issued as well on the play. Against the Bloodhounds is basically Boella was about to break in right on in towards goal, and he was just grabbed and held on to. So we'll have a yellow card on the play, and it looks like the foul occurred outside the penalty area, so it'll be a free kick opportunity as Boella was about to turn it right in towards goal, and a good play by the Bloodhounds to pick up the card and the foul, but otherwise, it looked like Boella was going to turn in towards a wide-open scoring opportunity, Joe.
We're still waiting for a number on the yellow. They asked me down at the other end of the scorers table if we caught it. I did not. Will be a free kick for the Dolphins just outside of the box. A great spot here for the College of Staten Island. Both Arianis and Lefkowitz lining up over the ball.
So let's see who takes it. It looks like Lefkowitz as he bends that ball towards the far post, and a beautiful save that time by Tala. So another big opportunity, but that time Tala there to make the save for the Bloodhounds.
A great free kick by Lefkowitz, a better save by Towler. That one was down in the bottom corner of the net. Towler fully extends and dives to make the save, using all 5'7" of his frame on that one.
And as you look at Lefkowitz break through 2 players and try to get past the third, but got that ball a little bit too far ahead of himself, and it just went out of bounds. But an opportunity on that last play, Joe, to really see the explosiveness that Lefkowitz has gotten back into his game.
It was, Mike, and as we have a moment, we mentioned the game getting physical. If you get taken out by a tough foul, the Hospital for Special Surgery is where the world comes back to get in the game. As you get a look on our screen quickly, there will be an interview at halftime with Samantha Laval. But as I was saying, take a hard foul, need to get back in the game. The Hospital for Special Surgery is the place for you. The hospital is ranked #1 in the nation for orthopedics by U.S. News and World Report. No wonder Hospital for Special Surgery is the official hospital of the CUNYAC. For more information, please visit www.hss.edu. That's www.hss.edu.
So it'll be the Dolphins to throw the ball in here, as we're inside of 9 minutes remaining here in this first half. And the Dolphins holding on to a 3-0 lead as they'll have another opportunity to throw the ball in, and it will be Condi with the throw-in here for the Dolphins. And, you know, you mentioned, Joe, that we'll have Samantha Laval here at halftime, and, you know, we came into the season wondering who was going to be the goal scorer that the Dolphins would be able to look towards. And, you know, they were led in scoring by Nicole Mignon last year. Where was the goal scoring going to come from? And it looks like Samantha Laval has answered that question, Joe.
She certainly has. 13 goals, as I mentioned during the pregame on the season. Added another one in the game today against Medgar Evers very early. She then headed to the bench for the rest of that matchup, but Laval continued her great season earlier this morning, and there's no reason to believe she won't continue to be prolific on the attack moving forward.
And the Dolphins will be back in action this Monday night as they will travel to William Patterson for a big non-conference game, and Dolphins playing very well. 3-time defending CUNYAC champions looking for number 4, and really have come out and playing a real exciting brand of soccer, and off to a good start in the conference as well, Joe, as they're 2-0 here early in conference play.
Big 3-0 win over John Jay, and then a huge 12-0 win earlier this morning against Medgar Evers. And I mentioned it during the pregame, their next conference matchup comes on September 26th for the men. Their next conference matchup a week from today, or excuse me, I should say 4 days from today at Medgar Evers, then back home a week from today against York on the 29th.
The Bloodhounds looking to try to counterattack quickly, but the Dolphins defense back once again as they're able to come away with the ball. And, you know, the Dolphins doing a nice job, Joe. They've been able to be successful offensively, but they've taken care of their defensive responsibilities pretty well here this afternoon.
Well, I mentioned the issue hasn't been marking and challenging. It's been some lazy passes and miscues in the back with moving the ball around and dribbling a bit too much in some cases, but that's really nitpicking. As I mentioned during the pregame, you did as well. The Dolphins have not allowed a goal in their last 3 matches, still have not allowed a goal in this one. We'll hope to keep it that way as we wind down towards 6.5 minutes left in the first half.
As that ball's going to be knocked out of bounds, it'll be a throw-in on the far side of the field for the Bloodhounds. And we mentioned a full slate of games on both the men's and women's side in the CUNYAC Conference here this afternoon, and know that Baruch was able to decisively beat CCNY. That game took place early this morning, and we'll try to get updates for you on some of the other games. But really, all conference teams in action on both sides, on the men's and women's side here this afternoon in CUNYAC play. And for these teams, it's their second conference game, as that ball's going to be played over to Condi on the near side of the field. Now it's Lehman. Lehman, long ball, looking for Arianis on the far side of the field, and it's going to be knocked away, but it's going to be Lefkowitz once again. Lefkowitz, a beautiful ball looking for Salas. Ball's going to be played away, and that time Salas will get called on the foul. So it will be a free kick opportunity here coming up for John Jay.
Well, I'm getting on those CUNYAC updates for you, Mike. We'll see how many live stats I can pull up. And Dave beat me to it. No score between Medgar and Lehman. I just pulled it up on my iPad. That game is, I believe, in the first half, just underway. 8-4, I should say, toward the end of the first half. 8:42 to go in half number one. That game got started at 1:30.
Yeah, both teams coming in 0-1. Medgar dropped their first game at home against Hunter College 3-0, and John Jay beat Lehman 4-3, so both those teams looking to get on the winning side of the ledger and try to avoid that 0-2 start, Joe.
And you hate to start off 0-2 in conference play, as the attack will have to ease up. Potential offsides call impending.
As that time the ball rolls through, Carucci there to pick it up for the Dolphins. That was a nice-looking play that time by the Bloodhounds as they were looking to feed it into Schottenstein, but instead it was Carucci able to come away with the ball, and Dolphins will pick up the foul, so it'll be another free kick opportunity here coming up for John Jay. Free kick over the head of everybody. It will roll all the way back towards goal, and it will be played there by Carucci for the Dolphins as the clock continues to roll inside of 4 minutes remaining here in this first half. And the Dolphins leading by a score of 3-0. Lefkowitz at midfield. Plays it back to Condi. Condi rolling the ball forward. And it's going to roll out of bounds. And it will be a throw-in. Is Vendra checking into the game for the Dolphins. And they play the ball over to Dragoom. Now it's Lehman. Lefkowitz. Feeding it up over to Morales as Dolphins have room in the back to operate here in this first half. Dragoom across the midfield line. And we're going to have a whistle and we're going to have a foul called on Schottenstein, and kind of a blatant foul right in the center of the field, and it'll be a free kick opportunity coming up here for the Dolphins.
And I think that's a fair description of that one. He didn't want to hear anything from the official either. Immediately turned his back and tried to jog away.
As that ball is going to be rolled over to Quintero on the far side. Give and go attempt that time, but it's going to be played away. And Dolphins maintain possession as it's Quintero. Dragoom looking to play it inside, but instead a nice defensive play by the Bloodhounds to step forward and cut the ball out again. Long ball looking down the far side, and the Bloodhounds with a little bit of space as they're able to get it into the center. That was Cisse who went flying on the play, but the Dolphins able to clear it out to the far side of the field, but not out as the Bloodhounds able to maintain possession. But now the Dolphins able to come out, and they'll have a little bit of space to counterattack as they get the ball up over to Arianis.
And I think we're going to get a stoppage, Mike.
Yeah, play it down on the field. That might be Peter Cisse. I believe it might be 25.
Just a reminder, the time on your screen, not official. We're in stoppage time right now. Officially 1:50 to go in the first half. The official has not signaled for the clock to stop yet. Just a reminder that at halftime, our engineer turned sideline reporter, Dave Pizzuto, will have an interview with Samantha Laval. That's coming up at the half, so stay with us through halftime. We'll also bring you full stats and our impressions of this one as the Dolphins have a 3-goal lead now with 1:30 to go in the half.
So the Bloodhounds will play the ball toward the Dolphin goal. Carucci will be there to play it. As play resumes now with 1:15 remaining here in this first half. As Morales rolling the ball forward as the Dolphins start to build up offensively here once again. Lehman. Plenty of room in the center of the field. Not much pressure on the Dolphin defense as they look to set the ball up. Now it's Morales once again. Bloodhounds looking to put a little bit of pressure now on as the Dolphins play it forward. But once again, the Bloodhounds are going to look to play it forward and see if they can get an attack here in the last 40 seconds. Dragoom, a nice move to get past a couple of Bloodhounds. Good idea that time looking for Salas, but a better defensive play by the Bloodhounds to cut the ball away. Toledo, long ball, but no Bloodhound there to play as it'll roll harmlessly on goal to Carucci for the Dolphins. Condi with 12 seconds remaining. Dolphins looking to run out the first half here. 7 seconds remaining. They'll play it into the center of the field. Long ball that time, looking for Borella for possibly a last-second opportunity. And that'll do it. 45 minutes in the books, Joe, and the Dolphins lead by a score of 3-0.
And we spoke about it quickly before opening kickoff. A lot of what we expected in this game. The Dolphins' attack remains prolific. John Jay, a team that did score 4 goals in their last game, but has struggled to score overall so far this season, barely averaging over a goal per game, has not gotten on the scoreboard yet here at halftime.
So we're at halftime. The Dolphins leading by a score of 3-0, and you know, it really didn't take long, Joe, for the Dolphins to get on the board. So good half for the Dolphins. Bloodhounds a long way to go here at halftime, down by a score of 3-0. So we're at halftime. What we're going to do is step aside, take a break, and we'll be back with a halftime interview with Samantha Laval. As we're at halftime. Once again, Dolphins lead by a score of 3-0. You're watching exclusive coverage of the CUNYAC Game of the Week right here on your voice from everything CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
No one ever won a race because it was their turn. And guzzling the right sports drink never won all 3 sets. You can't talk your way through a tournament, and luck doesn't last. Real champions know that it takes more to do more, because wanting it just isn't good enough. You've got to be smarter, faster, tougher. After all, if championships were easy, everybody would have one. City University of New York Athletic Conference. Learn, play, succeed. No one ever won a race because it was their turn. And guzzling the
retire like a champ, just like legendary basketball star Uncle Drew.
Don't do it like that, Uncle Drew.
You're already acing the game. You've got your dream ride.
Don't be slamming my door. Sorry about that. You just did the same. Gotta get the boys.
Your dream vacation and your dream team. And now you can make your retirement just as legendary.
I get buckets.
Get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
First time I tried Vicodin, it was laying around my mom's house. And then I kept taking them whenever I could get them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
No doubt you're going places, young lady.
Thank you. And thank you for the interview as well. I can imagine it was the last thing that you wanted to do after such a long campaign meeting.
You really are very...
help her out with the in and out. All right.
We're back here at halftime. The College of Staten Island leading this game by a score of 3-0 on the CUNYAC Game of the Week. For those of you who weren't at the CSI Soccer Complex, you missed the CSI women's team defeat Medgar Evers by a final of 12-0 today, and the Dolphins' leading scorer, Samantha Laval, is nice enough to join Dave Pizzuto here on the field for a halftime interview. Dave, take it away.
All right, thank you, Mike. As Mike mentioned, 12-0 CSI women's soccer over Medgar Evers. Sam, you didn't play a whole heck of a lot today, but you picked up another goal. That's 13 for the season among the nation's leaders. It's got to feel good to have this big of an impact early on.
Absolutely, yeah, it does. Just being on like a new team and everything, it's a great feeling how great we all work together and the chemistry that we all have, building each game at a time. So.
And Sam, speaking of being new, you spent the year last year at Wagner College up on the hill, NCAA Division I school. Take us through the process then of thinking about the transfer and ultimately making a decision to switch campuses and come to the College of Staten Island.
Well, originally I was recruited by a different coach, and when I got there, it was a different coach than who had recruited me, and it just wasn't a great fit. We didn't have that previous chemistry before, and I fell in love with Staten Island, and I just wanted to be here. So I looked into different schools, and I'd heard such great things about CSI, and I looked into it, and it all wound up working out really well.
So originally from Southbury, Connecticut, if I have it right, but played high school at Notre Dame Academy. Tell me a little bit about your roots.
I actually went to Notre Dame Fairfield. Oh. Yeah, I think they got it wrong on the website, but yeah, I'm from Southbury, Connecticut. Way different than the city. It's a little small town. Notre Dame Fairfield was like 45 minutes from my house. I'd actually transferred there as well my sophomore year and had such a great experience, and that coach did so much to help me, just looking through colleges and everything and getting me ready for college soccer.
So you spent a little bit of time at an NCAA Division I school. Now you're at NCAA Division III school, and NCAA Division III. You know, the tagline is a more focus on the student in the term student athlete. Tell me a little bit about the differences that you see on both sides of NCAA play.
There's definitely a lot more pressure on you to be the athlete in Division I, and here it's like more of a family. They care about your school and your athletics, so they want you to be the best you can be in both. They still care about your athletics, your academics in Division I too, but I just feel a lot more like people are backing me up in everything that I do here, which is a great feeling.
So you are new to the College of Staten Island, but so is your coach, Brittany Caceres, a first-year coach. The numbers on the team are a little bit on the smaller side than what we're used to at the College of Staten Island. So tell me a little bit about how close-knit and tight this particular team is, especially surrounded by a new coach.
Right. Well, we do a lot of team bonding, and there's really not that many of us. So even when we're on the field, we're all together all the time, like almost 6 or 7 days a week. And even when we're not playing soccer, we're all either getting food together or hanging out, just all that time really together, I think, is what is making us even closer on the field as well.
Excellent. And, of course, getting back to you and your performance so far this season, the women's soccer team dropped their first 2 games of the season. But since then, Sam, 5 straight wins. You've been a big force in all of those games. And the team really seems to be finding itself now in its groove as it heads towards the second half. Tell me what your impressions have been and what you guys are foreseeing over the next half season.
I think we're just keeping our minds open, taking it one game at a time, and looking to win every single game for the rest of the season.
All right, so Samantha Laval came into this weekend among the nation's leaders in scoring. She picked up another one today, and the women's soccer team has William Patterson on Monday night. Sam, congratulations on another great game, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you so much.
All right, Mike and Joe, back to you.
And thanks, Dave. Thanks, Samantha. That was Dave Pizzuto, joined by the leading scorer of the CSI Dolphins, Samantha Laval. Laval picked up her 13th goal of the season as the Dolphins win their
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs
As
of
the
cigarettes
Dolphins
over
win their
15
fifth game in
years.
a row as they
She quit,
advance their record
and now
to
there's a
5
new
and
lung
2
cancer screening
as
that
they
could save her life.
defeat Medgar Evers
stopped
by a
smoking.
final score of
Now
12
start
nothing.
screening.
So good win
No
for
matter
the
how much
Dolphins
you
here this
smoke,
afternoon
early
as
detection
they're
could
able
save
to
you.
pick up
Talk
another
to your
victory.
doctor or
And,
learn
Joe,
more
we
at
mentioned it before. The
SavedByTheScan.org.
CSI women's soccer team is really
Listen
to
to
play
me.
very well.
I am captain of the track team.
They have Mike as.
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice. She's new. Hello, is anyone there? Ugh.
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened?
And we're back here on
My
the
friend
air.
Becky
Sorry
got to talk
for
to
that
the super
momentary
cute boy.
technical
I tried to
delay,
act like I
Joe.
wasn't
But
jealous, but
you know,
I so totally
we just
was,
watched
and then out of
Dave
nowhere, this
Pizzuto
concrete
finish
barrier just popped
interviewing
up.
Samantha
And then
Laval,
there was a
and
semi.
you know, you
And
have
we
to be
were
really
driving.
impressed the way the CSI women's
I
soccer
know the whole
team
eyes on the
has
road
played
thing.
so far
It's
this
just
year.
super important.
And like you said, Mike, there is no way you can't come
Texting?
away impressed after watching them, especially
But
Samantha
it
Laval,
was only like
who, as
5
I mentioned
seconds, and I'm
during
really,
the
really
first
fast.
half of this game, has scored 13 goals on the season already. And another big win for the women earlier today. As I pull up their full schedule, get a quick look at what's upcoming for the women. Earlier this season, they dropped their first 2 games, but have not lost since. Today's victory over Medgar Evers makes it 5 straight for the College of Staten Island. They have allowed 3 goals over that 5-game winning streak. All 3 of those goals allowed to St. Joseph's College of Brooklyn. And upcoming, as you mentioned before, Mike, it's William Patterson up next for the women. A big matchup, a tough test for them out of conference before they return back to conference play against York on the 26th. We won't see them home again here at the CSI Soccer Complex until October 3rd. So a lot of time between now and the next time we'll cover women's soccer. But, of course, we'll have that game for you on October 3rd here on CSI Sportsnet.
So we're at halftime here. The Dolphins lead by a score
ceremony
of
was a
3-0.
blast.
We'll step aside and take
It
a
was
break
just like the
as you're watching the
surreal moment
CUNYAC
of
Game
my
of the
dreams
Week
are
right
coming
here on
true.
your voice of everything CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet,
When we found out that we were pregnant, we were just
CSIDolphins.com.
elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said, "Oh, I apologize. She won't be taking you in as a client."
We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to.
And sitting there in that small, cold room, I wanted to cry, just thinking, what did we bring this kid into?
We're simply asking to treat our family the same way that you would treat any family.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be. So we were walking to school. At the corner, we waited for the traffic light.
I started thinking about lunch. Mom packed me turkey and cheese.
She's
I really
smart,
want cheese pizza,
but
like at Luigi's.
sometimes her mind
They have this
wanders.
video game there, and Kate's got the high score. We should have a sleepover. Maybe I should pack my pajamas.
I remember saying, Laura? Laura?
I think I heard Mom say something.
The sign says don't walk.
Sometimes it's so overwhelming.
When we finally got there,
she gave me a hug goodbye.
I really hope she doesn't
I
have
really
another
hope I
bad
don't
day
have
at
another
school
bad day at
today.
school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free online resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Here you'll get personalized recommendations, practical tips, daily access to experts, and more. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org.
Be right back.
Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. What to expect?
We're back here at halftime where the College of Staten Island leads the John Jay Bloodhounds by a score of 3-0. And, Joe, the Dolphins got on the board early and really have played in control this first half.
And in the early part of that first half, it was all Dolphins. It really stayed that way throughout most of the first half. John Jay slowed them down a bit from about maybe the 5th minute through about the 15th. But the College of Staten Island once again broke through. You take a look at the shot totals. CSI, 9 total shots, 8 of them on goal. Bloodhounds yet to put a shot on goal. Advantage to John Jay in corners, but they haven't made much of those opportunities. CSI 8 fouls, John Jay 5. That first half got a bit physical later in the half, and then the offsides calls, only 2, both going against the College of Staten Island.
Yeah, and you know, Joe, if you remember, I think the Dolphins picked up the first 6 fouls of the first half, so John Jay coming back and getting a little bit physical. I think also getting a little bit frustrated toward the end of that first half.
And I think they were certainly frustrated. And that may go back to the way this game started. They thought an offside should have been called on that first Dolphins goal, and they didn't get that call. I'm not saying they should have, but they were protesting it and in an animated fashion, to say the least. They were getting right up in the official's face. Several players, not aggressively to the point where they deserved a card or anything, but they were certainly confident that an offside should have been called. They didn't get that call. Dolphins jumped out to an early 1-0 lead. That goal scored 56 seconds into the game, and from there, the Dolphins haven't looked back in this one, adding another goal in the 12th minute and then another goal in the 20th minute. So CSI hasn't scored in the last 25 minutes, but that really hasn't mattered because John Jay hasn't had any quality opportunities of their own.
Yeah, and you know, Joe, for the 4th consecutive game, the Dolphins have not allowed a goal, and they've scored another 3. So they've been able to produce offensively and have been very stingy in the back, and you know that's the formula to having a lot of success.
And I said it time and time again in the first half. It's the midfield play that's really been a big part of this Dolphins lead right now. John Jay has not been able to pass or dribble in the middle third of the field, and they've gotten frustrated to the point where they've attempted those long passes. In some cases that was by design, but in many cases it was out of necessity. The Dolphins simply not letting them put the ball through the midfield, either by pass or through dribbling, and the College of Staten Island has dominated the midfield when they've had the ball. We've seen Mackie Dagoon on more than one occasion dribble through several defenders at a time and play a teammate through. Philip Lefkowitz intercepting passes and creating opportunities, and you really can't say enough about what this Dolphins team did in that middle third of the field in half number 1.
And Joe, both these teams will be back in action in non-conference play this Monday night. John Jay will travel down to Stockton to play Stockton College at 7 o'clock, and CSI will go on the CSI will go on the road to play Rutgers Newark this Monday night, and that's a big non-conference test for the Dolphins at Rutgers Newark Monday night.
Certainly is, and I believe we saw them here a year or two ago, Mike, a game that we covered here on CSI Sports, that the Dolphins fell big in that one. I think the final score was 5-0, if I remember correctly. That game was a while ago, but College of Staten Island with a chance for redemption in this upcoming matchup against the Scarlet Raiders. We'll see if they can make the most of it. And if you're John Jay coming out in the second half, there's still plenty of time left in this game, but for a team that averages barely over a goal per game, they're going to need to see a drastic change in their attacking play in the second half to have an opportunity to come back in this game. And if you're the College of Staten Island, you're just looking for more of the same, stellar attacking play, solid play in the back, and that's put them ahead 3 goals and look to hold on to that lead.
And, you know, if you're the Bloodhounds, Joe, you really have to find a way to kind of tighten up in your penalty area a little bit, but at the same time, you need to produce some offense here in the second half.
You certainly do, Mike, and I need to get in another one of our sponsors before we get underway here in this second half. The Dolphins looking to hold a lead, but if you're looking for sporting goods, Modell's has provided exceptional service for 125 years and offers a 10% discount to all CUNY students, faculty, and staff when you present your valid CUNY ID upon making a purchase. You got to go to Moe's.
So we're underway here in the start of the second half. The Bloodhounds will go from right to left. The Dolphins will go from left to right. So here in the second half, the Dolphins will have the wind at their back as the Bloodhounds try to fight their way back, Joe, trailing by a score 3-0, and they'll pick up the first foul here in the second half.
I mentioned physical play to wrap up that first half. That foul now brings the team total to 14 for both of these two teams, 8 for the Dolphins, 6 for John Jay with that last foul. But John Jay has a long way back in this game, and I think right now it starts with their attacking play. They had some issues defensively, but didn't muster many chances on the attack, and in order to come back, you have to get those opportunities first.
Arianis to Dragoon, back to Arianis. He looked to feed it inside to Lefkowitz, but the Bloodhound defense able to play that ball away as Schottenstein fighting for possession with Dragoon, and we're going to have a whistle and a foul, and that's going to be called on Schottenstein. So it'll be a free kick opportunity coming up here for the Dolphins. Dolphins have won 3 games in a row coming into today's game. Have not allowed a goal since back on September 9th. And have been playing very well here the last few weeks. Bloodhounds looking to battle their way back as that's going to be Vendra with the ball, playing it to Arianis. Now it's Quintero. He was looking for Arianis to pass a little bit too far ahead, and it will be a throw-in here for the Bloodhounds. Schottenstein playing the ball forward. He's able to get the ball up over to Toledo, over to Tala, but a nice play by Vendra to get the ball to Arianis. Dolphins looking to attack. Salas rolling the ball through, but that time Lefkowitz cutting across the goal, and the pass towards goal, and that's going to be kicked out of bounds. And it will be an opportunity now. And the throw-in coming up for the Dolphins. A little bit of a slower start here, Joe, to the second half.
It has been. Well, we have a break in the action for just a moment. I did pull up the numbers from that last matchup between the Dolphins and Rutgers Newark. It was indeed a 5-0 victory for the Scarlet Raiders in that game. The Dolphins outshot 26-4, 11 shots on goal for Rutgers Newark, 2 for the College of Staten Island. So a rough game for CSI in that matchup last year, and 27 fouls committed between the two teams. Very physical match between the two sides, much like this one.
Beautiful ball looking for Arianis up on the near side. Schottenstein tried to cut him off. A beautiful play to roll the ball through, and Lefkowitz comes through to put the ball in the net. What a beautiful offensive play that time for the Dolphins as Lefkowitz picks up his second of the game, 5th of the year, and the Dolphins lead by a score of 4-0.
And Steven Towler pleading with his teammates for some help there in the box. That ball put in front, rolled straight by one Dolphins attacker. That was intentional. And then a second Dolphins attacker came in and was able to put that into the back of the net. We may get another look at it in a moment, but I'll have the official goal scorer and assist in just a moment. You had the score, Mike.
It's Lefkowitz with the goal, as that was just a beautiful play as Dolphins able to take the ball from the near sideline, roll it all the way across the Bloodhound goal mouth, dummy the ball through a second player, and then Lefkowitz there to put it into the wide open goal, and another beautiful play. And, you know, Lefkowitz has been all over the field today, Joe, and he's rewarded with his second goal of the day.
And he's certainly active whenever he's out there. We've seen it in the midfield. We've seen it on the attack, and that's been on display in this game from the start of this one and now through about the 49th minute as we're just underway in the second half. Dolphins quickly extend their lead to 4. The assist on that goal officially by Mike Arianis and Brenny Salas. So a pair of assists awarded on that goal. That's Lefkowitz's 5th goal of the season.
Ariana's trying to fly through in towards goal as Tala has to come all the way out of the net and slide and kick the ball out of bounds. So Dolphins continuing to put pressure on the Bloodhound defense. And, you know, now with a 4-goal lead, Joe, the Dolphins have a lot of flexibility. As Salas breaking it into the box, it's going to be knocked out of bounds, and the Dolphins will pick up their 3rd corner kick of the afternoon.
And the second half beginning much like the first half, a quick goal by the College of Staten Island. The Bloodhounds didn't have an answer in the first half and then looked to change that here in the second half, though the pressure is right back on them with this upcoming corner for the Dolphins.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, Joe, the Dolphins with that big goal to open the second half really taking a lot of steam out of the Bloodhounds.
They certainly have, as the corner kick is taken by Lefkowitz.
Lefkowitz right into the center of the penalty area. It's knocked away, but the Bloodhounds not able to clear it, and now they look to clear the ball out. That's going to be knocked away as Cartapian trying to play it forward. He gets it back defensively, but Dragoon stepping forward to knock the ball away. Now the Bloodhounds able to clear it out, but Quintero pushes it forward. Now it's Vendra, and he'll roll the ball back out over to Morales as we head into the 6th minute here in the second half, and Dolphins coming out and continuing to play well here, Joe, this afternoon.
Like I just said, Mike, much more of what we saw early in the first half as that one's turned over in the midfield, perhaps an opportunity for the Bloodhounds.
Shadstein with the ball, looking to work against Dragoon. A tough tackle on the play as both players really going at it on the play. It's going to be knocked out of bounds, and it's going to be a free kick opportunity for the Dolphins. So that time, Dragoon going at it pretty hard with Shadstein, and Dolphins coming away with the free kick.
We've seen Dragoon with impressive dribbling, impressive passing, and there an impressive challenge, chasing that play down from behind, winning the goal kick for the Dolphins. A great play by Dragoon, who's had a wonderful afternoon so far out there on the pitch.
So it's going to be a free kick opportunity here as Carucci playing the ball down. It's going to be headed away that time by Tala. Knocked out of bounds by Vendra, so it's going to be a throw-in opportunity as Nicholas Tala will come up to take the throw-in for the Bloodhounds. Tala throwing the ball in, looking for Shadstein. Shadstein and Quintero going at it on that play. Instead, the Dolphins are going to come out and knock the ball away, and Dolphins looking to counter it here. Flying in that time was Boella, and it took a good defensive play that time by the Bloodhounds to knock it away. That pass is going to be way too far ahead of everyone as Dolphins play the ball out of bounds. As that time, I believe it was Salas that got just too much of the ball and played it out of bounds, but Dolphins going to come out and continue to press the Bloodhounds deep inside their defensive territory. Throw-in played by Dragoon as he's able to steal it. Get it over to Lefkowitz. He chipped it forward. He was looking for Salas, but instead the ball will roll on goal, and Tala will be there to play it. But Dolphins continuing to come out and put a lot of pressure on this Bloodhound defense.
And the Bloodhounds simply have no answer for the Dolphins' attack. They haven't been able to maintain possession long enough to make anything of them as another foul is called, and that foul will go against the Dolphins.
Yes, Salas will pick up the foul, so it'll be another free kick opportunity. As the Dolphins continuing to put a lot of pressure and really forcing the Bloodhound defense into a lot of mistakes. As that ball's going to be played forward as Lefkowitz and Tralla kind of collide with each other, and Lefkowitz a little chirpy on the play as both teams really going at it, and it's been a spirited contest, Joe, and a physical one, but a clean one throughout the afternoon.
And I think Lefkowitz and Yazici both asking for yellow cards on that one. Either one could have been penalized there.
Vendra, nice play working with Arianes, but stepping forward to play the ball will be Toledo for the Bloodhounds. Cartapian, a nice pass into the center of the field, getting the ball to Cisse. He looked to play it forward, but instead, once again, the Dolphins there to play the ball away. Throw-in opportunity taken quickly here by the Bloodhounds as they try to attack before the Dolphin defense could set itself, but once again, Vendra is there to knock the ball away for the Dolphins. Vendra cutting that one out, looks to feed it to Dragoon, but Dragoon losing possession that time to Toledo, but that's as far as he could get before the Dolphin defense was there to knock it away. Here come the Dolphins looking to counter. Arianes, a beautiful through ball to Salas. Salas a step in front of the defense, tries to play it across, it's knocked away, and now fed across the goal mouth. Couple of Dolphin players there, but the Bloodhound defense one step ahead, able to knock it away.
Still more great passing by the Dolphins there to set up Salas with the opportunity, but no one in front to make a play on that ball after the initial attempt to put it in front was deflected.
As Carucci coming out and getting there just a step ahead of Shadstein. As the Bloodhounds looking to counterattack quickly. And that's really where they found their best opportunities, Joe, all afternoon, as limited as they've been.
Yep, counterattacks and long passes have been the sum of it for John Jay on the attack in this game. There's another long ball attempt, and looks like Quintero's on it.
Yeah, that time they're looking for Cartapian, but once again, Quintero there to play it, and Quintero having a very solid year in the back for the Dolphins, as well as most of that Dolphin back line, Joe.
We've said it time and time again. The Dolphins defensively over the last 3 games especially have been excellent, as we have a collision just on the midfield stripe, and a Bloodhounds player is down. Looked like he got hit in the eye.
Yeah, that was Cartapian who got hit. As we're going to have a foul called, and it'll be a free kick opportunity coming up here for the Dolphins, as I believe Albert's still down on the field as the official working his way over to check and make sure that he's okay. And we're going to have a stoppage of play, Joe, as he remains down on the field.
And trainer Allison Akashi will go out to tend to him with 34-31 to go in the second half. Dolphins beginning the second half much like they did the first, with an early goal. Not as early as they scored in the first half, less than a minute into the start of this game, as we'll have an injury substitution upcoming. James Haddad gets set, check back in. And he will take the pitch now, as it looks like Licciardi will come off.
Yeah, so it is Licciardi, as you mentioned, Joe, got hit on the play. He'll come off the field, as Haddad will check back into the game for the Bloodhounds.
It wasn't the eye, it was the nose, as Licciardi comes off with a bloody nose.
And it'll be a free kick opportunity here as Lefkowitz taking it and Thaler coming over to play it. So it's the Bloodhounds with possession now as they try to bring the ball up the near side of the field, and Quintero able to play the ball away in midfield to Vendra. Vendra, a lot of touches here in the second half, Joe, for the Dolphins.
Certainly has, as the Dolphins again moving forward on the attack, and that's cleared over the near sideline. But a lot of Dolphins getting involved on the attack in this game. That includes Vendra, especially in the second half.
As that throw in goes in front of everybody, and Quintero comes back to play it, and he'll roll it all the way back over to Carucci. Carucci playing the ball right up into the center of the field. The Bloodhounds there to play it, and they'll look to turn and see if they can get a little bit of an attack into the Dolphin back. Arianis, a beautiful ball for Lefkowitz. Lefkowitz able to run around one defender, nearly put it past Thaler, but Thaler able to come up and make the play, and Lefkowitz causing all kinds of problems all day long, Joe, for this Bloodhound defense.
And that's been the case from the start of this game all the way up until now, with 33 minutes to go in the second half. Philip Lefkowitz has been active in this game, has gotten on the scoreboard as well.
Arianis gets it over to Vendra. Vendra looking to play the ball across, and the Bloodhounds forced to give away the corner on the play. And another nice play by Vendra, turning defense into offense, and the Dolphins end up with a corner on the far side of the field.
And not only has Philip Lefkowitz gotten on the scoreboard, but I should mention he's done it twice on 5 shots, 4 of those on goal, and had opportunities for even more in this one. And seems to have a motor that never dies, as the Dolphins will take the corner kick here. It will be Lefkowitz to attempt the corner kick.
So Lefkowitz will go on to the far side of the field. He'll take the corner for the Dolphins. High arching ball right into the center of the box. It's going to be headed away and out of bounds, and I believe it'll be another corner kick for the Dolphins, this time on the near side of the field, their 5th corner kick of the afternoon.
I believe John Jay had the first 2 or 3 corners in the first half. The Dolphins now with at least 5 consecutive, I think. I'll double check that, but Dolphins now with the advantage in that category.
As that corner kick able to get all the way across, and it's going to be skied up by Lehman, passed across by Salas, but too far across, and the Bloodhounds will be there to play it on the far side of the field. Condi looking to pass the ball up forward, but a nice job by the Bloodhounds to converge on the ball as they'll try to play it up the far side of the field. Dragoon will step forward to knock it out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in here for the Bloodhounds. Handball on the Dolphins will lead to a free kick opportunity, and the way John Jay's played it all afternoon, Joe, you'd expect them to try to sky this one toward the penalty area.
And I don't think there's much doubt about that, Mike, though the wind is against them, and you saw the effect of the wind on Christian Carucci's last goal kick. That ball traveled considerably farther off of his foot due to the wind being at his back. We'll see how much the wind affects this free kick. And just to correct myself, it's 4 straight corners for the Dolphins. Dolphins had an early corner, followed by 3 from John Jay.
As that ball is played right into the Dolphin penalty area, but cleared out nicely. And here come the Dolphins looking to counterattack as it's Arianis on the near side of the field. Arianis. Nice pass, gets it up to Boella, looking to get it back to Arianis, but instead the Bloodhounds able to knock the ball away, but it'll go out of bounds over the near touchline, so another throw-in for the Dolphins.
And look how quickly a Bloodhounds free kick turns into a Dolphins attacking opportunity. That free kick taken into the wind. The Dolphins immediately get possession right back and move the ball upfield quickly into the final third. And once again, it's a CSI corner.
Yeah, Dragoon putting enough pressure on the Bloodhound defense that they sky it out of bounds once again. So 3 pretty quick consecutive corner kicks here for the Dolphins. And they've been putting dangerous balls into the penalty area on these corner kicks, Joe.
And those 3 early corners I just mentioned for John Jay following the first Dolphins corner, really the only attacking pressure they put on the Dolphins in that first half for the most part, as this one travels a bit far and a foul is called.
So the Dolphins will pick up the foul on the play, and it will lead to a free kick opportunity coming up here for the Bloodhounds. But, you know, Joe, for the Bloodhounds here this afternoon, they just haven't found a way to attack the Dolphins with any kind of sustained effort here this afternoon. Just too much pressure by the Dolphins. And, you know, when they do get the ball and try to step forward with pressure, the Dolphins are really very effectively counterattacking them.
They have, and I think the issue for John Jay primarily has been their play in the midfield for a large part of this game. They haven't been able to dribble through the midfield. They haven't been able to pass through the midfield. They've had to rely on the long ball. The Dolphins continue to win the ball in midfield and move forward on the attack quickly. And when the Dolphins have gotten out on the attack, John Jay's defense has been lackadaisical at times. We mentioned early in the first half many players hoping for an offsides call on the first goal. We saw it again in another goal the Dolphins scored in that first half. And if you're not marking the ball handler or taking a man in the box that is allowed to then run in free and score, that's your responsibility as a player on that back line. And at many points in this game, John Jay's back line hasn't met that responsibility. And we saw their goalkeeper before, Stephen Towler, just begging for some help that he didn't get.
So now the Bloodhounds trying to put a little pressure on that Dolphin defense, but Dolphins able to do enough to clear it away, and now Morales will sky it out of bounds out over the far sidelines. So it'll be a throw-in here for the Bloodhounds as John Jay able to put a little bit of pressure on that Dolphin defense, but not able to finish, as once again the Dolphins able to clear it away.
And any pressure John Jay has put on the Dolphins has been very short-lived. They've had trouble maintaining possession for any more than a minute or so at a time, as here they finally look to move forward into the final third, and it's 2-on-1, but Dolphins come away with it.
Yes, Towler tried to overlap as we have physical play on both sides on the play, and here come the Dolphins looking to attack. Salas looking to get the ball through as that ball is going for Montesinos. Montesinos looking to roll the ball just across the far post and out of bounds as, you know, once again, the Dolphins counterattack quickly as Montesinos check back into the game, roll that ball across. It just missed the far post. So it rolls out of bounds. It'll be another free kick, but once again, Joe, the Dolphins presenting themselves very dangerously.
And a great hustle play just to get to that ball by Montesinos. I wasn't certain he'd get there before Towler did, but a great play to win that ball from the defender who was challenging him for it, and then to put a shot toward goal. But that was a tough angle. If he put that one in, it would have been very impressive. Mackie Dagoon also charging down in front. If he had gotten there maybe a second sooner, the Dolphins could very well be up 5-0 right now.
So the Bloodhounds now with possession of the ball will look to bring the ball up the near side as that's Staccanio passing it forward. But once again, the Dolphin defense there to knock the ball away as it's Lehman in the center of the field. Lehman rolling the ball up onto the far side As that's Boella looking to work his way forward. It's going to be knocked away momentarily, but Dolphins coming away with the ball once again. And Dolphins doing very well on the 50-50 balls here this afternoon, Joe.
They have all afternoon, Mike, and I mentioned their play in the midfield has been fantastic. That's been the case from the start of this one and now into the second half as well. And as I said before, it's a big reason why they find themselves ahead 4 goals in this game, and there's no reason to expect that to change in this one, as the Dolphins have played well in the midfield pretty much every game that we've covered them in this season. The issues have been miscues and offsides, and as I said before in the pregame, it was nitpicking a bit in that first game, a 6-2 victory, but if those were the negatives we took away from it in a 4-goal win, I'm sure the Dolphins could live with that, and it doesn't give them as much to correct moving forward.
So it's Cisse drawing the foul for the Bloodhounds, and Bloodhounds with a good opportunity, Joe, to at least get a set piece and play the ball into the Dolphin penalty area. They do so as players go down as that ball's chipped toward the front, and Carucci is there to play it once again. So an opportunity for the Bloodhounds, but the Dolphins there once again, and now they look to counterattack quickly. Lefkowitz off of the long goal kick. Lefkowitz able to break past one defender, step into the box, get the ball over to Montesinos, and then the ball goes through into the net. So once again, the Dolphins get another goal as that ball turned very quickly from offense to defense. One long goal kick down the field. Lefkowitz able to break past the defender. The ball gets played in front, Joe, and the Dolphins add their 5th goal of the afternoon.
Lefkowitz, Montesinos, Bilella. Here's another look.
As you see Lefkowitz breaking in, and they get the ball in front, and I think it might have been deflected in on the play. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll get another look at it, and we'll wait for the official goal scoring on the play, Joe. But the Dolphins pick up their 5th goal of the afternoon, and you know they've outscored their CUNYAC opponent so far, 14-0.
Great camera work by our engineer, Ina Wong, switching cameras right as the goal was scored. That was excellent. The best look we've had at one in a couple of years. Really good job by our new engineer as she took over for Dave Pizzuto at halftime, who's now working a camera along the sideline for us. So great job on that last goal as that one's over the touchline.
Yeah, as we mentioned, the official time kept on the field. You see it on the scoreboard on your screen. 25 minutes remaining here in this second half. And it will be Boella credited for chipping the ball in. So it was a beautiful play. Once again, another great play by Lefkowitz. He really just blew past the Bloodhound defender and turned towards goal. And once he was able to do that, you know, the Dolphins had wide open men in front. Montesinos there. He put it right in front, and Boella were able to chip it right in, Joe.
And you touched on it briefly before, Mike, as that one's on goal and saved. But how impressive it was that the Dolphins were able to turn that into an attack so quickly, a free kick toward their own penalty area, quickly turned into a long ball in the opposite direction. And that's the type of pass the Bloodhounds have been looking for in this game. They've been unable to connect much in the second half. They had a couple of opportunities on long balls in the first half, but the Dolphins turned that last long ball into their 5th goal of the game.
So the Dolphins leading by a score now of 5-0 as that ball will be played out of bounds. And looking on the women's side, Joe, the CSI Dolphins will be back in action this Monday night as they will play William Patterson, and it will be John Jay's women's team going down to Stockton, and then we'll be back in CUNYAC play this Wednesday afternoon as Brooklyn will play Medgar Evers, Staten Island will be at York, and Lehman will be at CCNY in CUNYAC women's play. So women's and men's soccer going on concurrently here for the fall, and games coming up. The Dolphins will have 2 games in the next 4 games, Joe, and a big non-conference test against William Patterson this Monday night.
Well, it certainly will be a big test for this team that will go into that game having won 5 straight. And I do want to get us another CUNYAC update in just a moment. I had some men's soccer scores on my screen before. I'll pull those back up and we'll check in. I believe it was Medgar Evers and Lehman in progress, so I'll take a moment to pull that up.
As it'll be a free kick opportunity, as looks like it's Yahtzee will take it as he gets that ball right into the center of the penalty area. But once again, the Dolphin defense very sound, Joe, here this afternoon. Haven't really given the Bloodhounds that big mistake, and here come the Dolphins once again as they're able to chip the ball across looking for Salas, and it's Salas working one-on-one, and now it's taken, and the shot is going to be by Boella once again with all kinds of space. And, you know, the Dolphins counterattacking into wide open spaces, Joe.
Well, that game between Medgar Evers and Lehman was scheduled to get underway at 1:30. They must have gotten underway a bit late in that one. I thought that game had 8 minutes left in the first half. That game had just, in fact, gotten underway. Both teams scoring in the first half. A goal for the Lightning, a goal for the Cougars. That game knotted up at 1. They're getting set to start the second half.
So both teams in that game looking for their first conference win of the year as the Bloodhounds looking for an opportunity and a beautiful attempt at goal that time, as that was Peter Cisse with the nice kick towards goal, but that shot went wide. So the Bloodhounds with an opportunity but can't get the shot on goal.
Easily the Bloodhounds' best opportunity of the second half. Unfortunately, it came with under 22 minutes to go, and that's far too long to go for your first true goal-scoring opportunity in a half. And I mentioned it coming into the second half. The Bloodhounds averaging just over a goal per game so far this season, and they were going to need a huge second half to get back in this game. Unfortunately, it was the Dolphins who came out and quickly put 2 goals up on the scoreboard, now lead by 5.
So the Dolphins coming in with a 3-game winning streak and putting themselves in great position for win number 4, but they're going to have to put it all out on the line this Monday night, Joe, as they will head to Newark to play a very tough Rutgers Newark team, and another good opportunity. Dolphins have played a lot of quality non-conference competition here in 2018.
And much like the women, the men have a tough test coming up, but it will be a great thing for them to evaluate where they are right now and where they are relative to where they were last year. They played Rutgers Newark last year on the 25th. They'll play them 2 days from now on the 24th of this year, so nearly 1 year to the day. That last matchup between the Scarlet Raiders and the Dolphins, CSI gets another chance to pick up a victory against Rutgers Newark, as that was an offsides call against the Dolphins. But as you said, Mike, a tough test. It'll be interesting to see where the Dolphins are right now.
Yeah, and, we remember that Rutgers Newark game from last year. A lot of super high-quality Division III talent on that team. And, the Dolphins men's team has really come out and really played extremely good soccer, Joe, really from the opening game here so far in 2018.
And in the 2 games we've covered, the men have played extremely well, 6-2 and 4-0 victories. And we've seen nothing but good things here from the men at home as they're well on their way to another victory. And this one will remain perfect in the CUNYAC Conference. And right now leading by 5 goals, but I'm not sure they're finished.
Here comes Dragoon with a lot of space, but he gets the ball a little bit too far ahead. Nice defensive play that time by Nito, I believe, for the Bloodhounds to knock that ball away, as it looked like the Dolphins were going to counterattack. And here comes Shadstein looking to get the long ball, but the pass not far enough, and the Dolphins able to knock the ball away. Vendra right in the center of the field. Vendra rolling the ball up now. That's Cuomo who checked into the game. Long pass all the way onto the far side of the field, as that's Lee. As we're going to have a whistle and a foul called on the Dolphins. So it'll be a free kick opportunity for the Bloodhounds. CCNY dropped to 0-2 earlier this afternoon as Baruch was able to handle them. Dolphins leading in this one by a score of 5-0, but the Bloodhounds have done a little bit better, Joe, here in the second half, at least being able to get the ball on the Dolphins side of the field.
Yeah, and that's not saying much, Mike. It was a real struggle in the first half for John Jay. That last opportunity, easily their best of the game. They had a couple of shots toward goal in the first half, but one of them was well high, another well wide. Only 2 shots at the half for John Jay. And if I'm not mistaken, they still haven't put a shot on goal. I'll double-check that, but I don't believe John Jay has a shot on goal yet in this one.
So, yeah, Zaki will check into the game. Lots of substitutions coming up for the Dolphins. John Cuomo checking into the game. Joe Albanese checking into the game. Interesting, Albanese not in the starting lineup today, Joe, and he's been very solid defensively for the Dolphins. As that shot is turned towards goal, and a good opportunity for the Bloodhounds, but once again, they're not able to put the ball on goal.
And I was incorrect. 1 shot on goal for John Jay. That came in the 65th minute. That shot on goal, the only shot on goal for the Bloodhounds in this game. The Dolphins with 12 shots on goal of their own to go along with 6 corner kicks, 3 corners for John Jay thus far in this one.
So it's going to be another free kick opportunity And that ball is going to be headed back by the Bloodhound defense right up over to Lefkowitz. Lefkowitz turns and drills that one towards net. It's going to be up over the top. And it's going to be a free kick opportunity here for the Bloodhounds.
Dolphins fans and Dolphins bench looking for a call. Lefkowitz had 2 hands on his back. Everyone calling for a push to our right. They don't get that call. Not sure they need it with a 5-goal lead.
Yeah, you're not going to get that call very often. But like you mentioned, Joe, a little bit different when the game is as one-sided as it is. Lefkowitz. Fabulous game for Lefkowitz right from the opening minute as he blows past 2 players and is able to center the ball, and ball goes past everybody. But once again, it looks like Lefkowitz has a different gear, Joe, to the other players out on the field.
It certainly has looked that way. I mentioned his motor before, Mike, and we spoke to him following one game earlier this season, as the Dolphins do keep that one in. But Dolphins had a big lead in that game against St. Joseph's College Brooklyn, and he told us that he asked back into the game and then ultimately scored a goal for CSI, answering a goal by the Bears just moments before. So Lefkowitz certainly not someone who's content to sit out a game, even if his team is leading, and he finds himself out there right now, his team leading by 5. I'm not sure he's come off the pitch yet in this one.
The Bloodhounds next will be back in action as they will play Baruch this Wednesday. Full conference schedule of games Wednesday. Dolphins will go against Medgar Evers as that ball goes up over the top. Nice play once again by the Dolphins, and once again they'll earn another corner kick. And Dolphins with a couple of games coming up, Joe. That big non-conference game against Rutgers Newark, and then back against Medgar Evers is Dolphins continuing to play very well here in 2018.
And, Mike, I think a yellow card was just issued. I think the name I heard was Chris Lee, and that is indeed the yellow card. So a yellow issued to Chris Lee of the Dolphins.
As Lefkowitz corner kick bounces in front, no further damage done as the Bloodhounds able to head the ball out toward the far sideline. It'll roll out of bounds, and it will be another throw-in for the Dolphins. As we're about to head in now to the 76th minute. It's been all Dolphins. They lead by a score of 5-0. And, you know, Joe, when you get that opening goal just 5 minutes, just a minute into the game, and you're playing well anyway, it does so much for your confidence. And Dolphins have played good, confident soccer and really haven't been challenged by the Bloodhounds here this afternoon, where you felt the game was ever in doubt.
And they have good reason to be confident the way they've played now, make it in their last 4 games, still have not surrendered a goal during that time, and have outscored opponents 22-0 over their last 4 games. Still a chance to add to that as 2 substitutions did come on for the Dolphins. It was Jair Larea and Jonathan Villamar for the College of Staten Island entering the game just moments ago. I saw Chris Lee come off. I think the second player to come off was Miguel Morales.
Yeah, and it was Morales, Joe, who came off. And, you know, Morales, such a good stabilizing force in that defense, adds a lot of size and strength and played very well. And wasn't as busy as he's been in other games, but like the rest of the Dolphin defense, when called upon today, they really haven't made very many mistakes.
And the fact that he wasn't that busy isn't necessarily a bad thing. Not many chances for John Jay in this game. Dolphins, as I've said time and time again, doing a great job in the midfield, keeping the pressure off of their back line. They haven't been called upon very often. Neither has Christian Carucci. It's been a relatively quiet day for that back line and the Dolphins goalkeeper in this one.
As that ball is going to be thrown forward, and the Dolphins able to play the ball back out over towards midfield. As Montesinos look to play that ball across. Instead, it's the Bloodhounds able to come away with it, but at time knocked out of bounds defensively. Good defensive play that time by the Dolphins, as that was Albanese who knocked the ball out of bounds. Bloodhounds trying to attack forward once again. Lots of Dolphin jerseys around the ball, Joe. No matter where you see the ball go, it seems like Dolphins doing a nice job getting a lot of players around it.
And you can see right now on your screen players swarming as, once again, physical play. And this one may have to get broken up.
Yeah, this is not what you're looking for, Joe. With a 5-0 lead and lots of soccer left to be played. You don't want to pick up these extraneous cards.
Get out of there.
With a 5-0 lead.
definitely don't want to see this as the clock is stopped. The official will have words with several players, and I think this is going to spark some substitutions for the Dolphins. As I heard Philip Lefkowitz's name, I think he's coming off. He may not be the only one.
So 12 minutes, 33 seconds remaining. The clock is stopped. Dolphins leading by a score of 5-0. And if you're a CSI soccer fan, Joe, good day. The women came out and played a struggling Medgar Evers team, but played well, got the victory, getting themselves ready for Monday, and men coming out with a 5-0 lead here, looking to preserve that shutout here over the last 12-25.
And the women were certainly expected to win their game earlier today, and I'm not sure either of us expected a game like this. I think it's fair to say the Dolphins were the favorites entering this game, especially given the way they've played recently, but I'm not sure that anyone expected a 5-0 CSI victory, especially after these teams played to a scoreless tie last year.
So it's Albanese now. Albanese looking to play the ball forward, trying to play it back off of his own deflection. It's going to be knocked out of bounds, and we're going to have a substitution as Alex Sosa is going to check into the game, and he'll replace Philip Lefkowitz. And, Phil doing a great job running all over the field. He really playing with a lot of energy, a lot of speed, picked up a couple of goals, and you want the day to end on that positive note for Lefkowitz, Joe.
And not only a goal for him, but an assist as well. 7 shots, 5 of those on goal, and this is indeed the first time he has come off the pitch in this game. 78 minutes of action for Philip Lefkowitz, 78 active minutes.
So the Dolphins with a 5-0 lead, 2 goals by Lefkowitz, 2 by Barella, 1 by Navarro. And, we mentioned, Joe, that the Dolphins' offensive attack has been really much stronger this year. They're taking much more advantage of opportunities, and look at another long ball. They picked up a goal like this earlier in the second half, and we're going to have a no call on the play as the clock runs under 11 minutes and the Dolphins leading by a score of 5-0.
And I think it's fair to say, Mike, that the Dolphins bench has been very unhappy with the officiating in this game. We've heard a lot of loud voices coming from that Dolphins bench, and a lot of disgust with some of the non-calls in their view.
So now the Dolphins looking to play the ball forward as they're going to look to attack once again as Montesinos looking to break in, and that ball is going to be knocked out of bounds, and it's going to be a throw-in here for the Dolphins. Dolphins 13 shots on goal this afternoon. They've allowed just 1. They picked up a goal, Joe, in that first minute of play, and have never looked back here this afternoon.
And much like our previous 2 games that we've covered here at the CSI Soccer Complex for the men's team this year, it's been all Dolphins once again here today. A 4-0 victory over SUNY Cobleskill back on the 15th, and a 6-2 victory over St. Joseph's College of Brooklyn, our 2 previous broadcasts this year. The Dolphins winning both of those games handily, and they may not be done adding to their lead in this one as that pass is just a bit far ahead of Salas.
Yeah, that was Vendra looking to play the ball through a little bit too far ahead. And we're going to have another substitution here as Ahmad Abdallah will check into the game. And he's going to replace Andrew DeCanio. And DeCanio, like the rest of the Bloodhound midfield and defense, very busy in the back as the Dolphins have really turned up the offensive pressure. And, Dolphins come at you not with a huge amount of size, Joe, but with enough size and with a lot of speed as well.
And they've certainly shown they're not going to back down from a physical challenge in this game. We've seen physical play from both sides. Generally speaking, clean play. A couple of scuffles in this one, but nothing too extraordinary as we wind down inside 10 minutes remaining in this game. We'll hope to see a clean game the rest of the way. This outcome already decided, obviously, with the Dolphins leading by 5 goals. And you don't want to see any more cards issued or any exchange of physical blows or shoving, as we've already seen in this game.
That was a nice play by Toledo to step forward for the Bloodhounds and try to play the ball forward, but his pass just a little bit too far ahead. So Bloodhounds just a step or so away on that play. And here come the Dolphins once again with a long ball down the far sideline, but a little bit too far ahead of everybody, and it'll go out of bounds, and we'll have another substitution. As it'll be Adam Madera checking into the game. And he'll replace James Haddad as the clock continues to run with just over 8 minutes and 15 seconds remaining here in this second half. Dolphins playing the ball now into the center of the field. Vendra. Cuomo looking to overlap from his fullback position, now rolling the ball in towards Salas. Salas gets past one Bloodhound, looks to get past the second. He plays it in front. And once again, it's going to have to be played away by Taller in goal. So Dolphins able to come in from the sides of the penalty areas, and they've really been beating the Bloodhound defense all afternoon long, Joe.
And I certainly don't envy Stephen Taller in goal for the Bloodhounds in this one. He's had to make some tough decisions whether or not to come out on balls approaching the box, and his defense hasn't done a great job cutting off the angles. The Dolphins have been able to win balls from that back line, and that's resulted in at least one or two of the Dolphins' goals, in addition to many more chances throughout this game for the College of Staten Island. Another one may be coming here.
Yeah, here comes another opportunity for the Dolphins as they're able to chip that one towards the front of the net, and somehow the Dolphins not able to put that ball into the net as they were streaking across and had another opportunity, and I think that might have been Salas, Joe, that was breaking across the goal mouth and just couldn't get a foot on it. And Montesinos, I believe, was the player that fed him. So a nice play by the Dolphins. And here comes the Bloodhounds with a shot on goal as it Chadstein putting it on net, but Carucci right there to make the play. So Dolphins with an opportunity and a nice quick counterattack by the Bloodhounds.
And it was Salas breaking in towards goal, but another great pass from Carlos Montesinos as well. We've seen his passing on full display in this game. But, Mike, it's really remarkable how many times the ball has been passed in front for a clean opportunity, especially for the Dolphins, of course, in this game. Dolphins haven't really surrendered many of those opportunities, as you got to look at the foul tally. And Dolphins now with 11 more fouls committed than the Bloodhounds. CSI has committed 19 fouls in this game as opposed to 8 by John Jay.
So now it's Carucci who'll pick up the ball now for the Dolphins. And, you know, Joe, with a 5-0 lead and just over 6 minutes remaining, if you're the Dolphins right here, I think the most important thing is to preserve that shutout.
Preserve the shutout, get out of this game healthy. Don't pick up any more yellow cards, no unnecessary fouls or physical play. Just get out of here with a victory. As there's another foul. That's number 20.
Yeah, and that's going to be Zaki, I believe, that's going to get called on the play, as it'll be the Bloodhounds with the opportunity to take the free kick. And it'll look like Adair will take it for John Jay as he chips that ball high right into the center of the penalty area. Good bending ball, but all Dolphin defense there to play it as they'll just sky the ball all the way down the field. And Bloodhounds will look to build up the attack once again, and Dolphins pulling back a little bit on the offensive side, Joe, giving the Bloodhounds a little bit more room in that defensive zone.
And I think that's the right move here if you're the Dolphins. We've seen this game get chippy at times. No need to add on to your 5-goal lead here. Only 5 minutes to go in this game. But as you said, Mike, you need to preserve the shutout. Keep that streak going. Of course, your win streak will continue and carry the momentum from this game into a huge matchup upcoming against Rutgers Newark, a much tougher opponent that has given CSI a lot of trouble in the past. We mentioned the 5-0 victory over the Dolphins with the Scarlet Raiders last year. So we'll see if the Dolphins can improve upon that this year and at the very least get a goal up on the scoreboard against a very difficult team.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing the Dolphins playing against Rutgers Newark this Monday night, Joe, and an opportunity to see how the Dolphins face against some of the top-level competition on the East Coast. You mentioned earlier Dolphins lost 5-0 the last time those two teams met, and Dolphins looking for certainly a better result, Joe, this Monday night.
And I believe Rutgers Newark came into that matchup last year nationally ranked. I want to say they were ranked. Oh, no, there it is, 11. So it is right here. I was going to say 6, but they came in ranked 11. That rank maybe even changed depending on the final outcome from their season, but nonetheless, a very difficult team for the College of Staten Island. And you've said it before, Mike. You can't accuse John Tardy of scheduling matchups that heavily favor CSI. He certainly is not shy about scheduling some tough competition. And we've seen the Dolphins take on some of those tough teams and play them very closely in the past. That includes nationally ranked Rowan University, or at least at the time when we saw the Dolphins face them, they were nationally ranked. That game was played 2 years ago, and I said it last time I mentioned this game. Time certainly flies.
Yeah, as we have a whistle and we're going to have a foul on the play as the Dolphins will pick up a foul, and this will give the Bloodhounds an opportunity for a free kick in a good scoring position as the clock continues to wind down with 3 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in this one. The Dolphins lead by a score of 5-0. The only outcome in doubt is whether the Dolphins will preserve the shutout or not. And an opportunity, a good opportunity, Joe, here for the Bloodhounds.
And they've had several free kicks and corner kicks that have given them a chance to play the ball into the penalty area, but I'm not sure they've had any as good as this one. And two players lining up near the ball. We'll see who takes the free kick. As you see, CSI continuing to pile on the fouls with 22 in this game.
Dolphins putting 4 players in the wall as that's drilled on net. Carucci there to make the save. So nice bending shot on the play, got around the wall, but Carucci right there. Good opportunity for the Bloodhounds, but the Dolphins hold on to their shutout on the Carucci save.
We've seen a couple of good free kicks, one by each team in this one. Philip Lefkowitz delivered a good free kick for the Dolphins earlier. That was saved nicely by Towler. That one saved by Carucci.
As the long shot towards goal will be over the top. So that's going to be a free kick opportunity here as the clock continues to wind down. And the Dolphins now 2 minutes away from their 4th win in a row and their 2nd straight conference win. Vendra with the nice steal. Vendra with a little bit of space. Vendra rolling the ball across. Now it's Montesinos as his shot goes up over the top. Nice play late in the game, Joe, by the Dolphins, but the Montesinos shot well over the crossbar.
Great passing by the Dolphins once again. We've seen Carlos Montesinos set up his teammates on more than one occasion in this game. This time he's the beneficiary of the good passing. His shot high and wide. Just a reminder, the time on your screen not official. We have 1:30 left on the official game clock here at the CSI Soccer Complex. So the time on your screen, once that reaches 93 minutes, will be wrapped up here from the College of Staten Island.
So the ball is going to be played back, and once again it's Lehman with the ball for the Dolphins, rolling the ball forward into the center of the field, and now it's going to be played out onto the near side. Cuomo with the ball. Cuomo up on the near sideline, Salas. Salas's pass is going to be knocked away and played there by Toledo with a minute remaining in the game. Played into the center of the field. Dolphins trying to play it out, but it's Shadstein with the ball. Vendra steps forward, but not able to clear it out, and here comes John Jay looking to get an opportunity here. In the last minute, that shot's going to be knocked away by the Dolphin defense and now rolled out onto the far side of the field. Bloodhounds looking to get one last opportunity. Beautiful ball into the center of the penalty area, but Carucci comes out and makes the play. Nice play that time by the freshman keeper.
And when Carucci's been called upon, he's come through in this game. It'll be another shutout on the stat sheet for him and for this Dolphins team as they may get one last chance here.
Dolphins with 12 seconds remaining, and now it's going to be Salas. As you hear the final 10 seconds counted down. Vendra rolling it in front, and the shot towards goal is going to go over the top, and that's going to do it. The College of Staten Island wins their 4th game in a row. They up their record to 2-0 in the conference as they win by a final score of 5-0.
And a very impressive showing from the College of Staten Island against a team that played them to a scoreless tie last year. We've already said it many times. That game between these two teams saw the stat sheet favor the Dolphins, but the outcome a tie for both sides. And getting a look at the numbers here today, it was all Dolphins in this one once again. CSI, of course, winning 5-0, out shooting the Bloodhounds 19-6. Dolphins 13-3 in shots on goal. More corners, 7-3 in favor of the Dolphins. Really, the only number that went against the Dolphins was the 22 fouls as opposed to 8 by the Bloodhounds. A very physical game, but John Jay simply had no answer for the Dolphins play in the midfield, no answer for the stellar attacking play of the Dolphins, which we saw from the start of this game all the way through the finish.
Yeah, and, you know, we brought you our first CUNYAC game of the week here in this 2018 fall season, and it was an exciting game, Joe. Another good game for the Dolphins is, you know, they got out in front early and they never looked back, and you know, the Dolphins have been playing very solid soccer all season long, and you know, you get off to that quick start, things can usually get easier from that point.
And a 2-0 start in the CUNYAC Conference is huge for this College of Staten Island team. I mentioned before how you'd love to start the conference season with a pair of victories. The Dolphins have done just that. I'll try and get one more score update between Lehman and Medgar Evers before we turn it over for our post-game interview. And it is Lehman, and we have a scuffle on the field just after the post-game handshakes. And you never want to see this, as this will be taken care of quickly, but doesn't look like any punches were thrown, thankfully.
Yeah, but, once again, you come out with a 5-0 victory, and you want to just be able to enjoy the victory and come over and have the post-game conference. And instead, a little bit of bad tempers and, really not something that you're looking for if you're either team here as the season and this game ends with the Dolphins winning by a final score of 5-0. So good game for the Dolphins here this afternoon as Lefkowitz picks up his 4th and 5th. Boella picks up his 6th and 7th. Navarro picks up his 8th. And the Dolphins continue to play well as Philip Lefkowitz slowly making his way over here to join us here this afternoon. And Phil, nice enough to join us once again here. As Phil, congratulations. The team really playing well. You guys have now won 4 games in a row.
Yeah, really good feeling. Just hope to keep it going for the rest of the season.
Phil, you come in and you got your second conference game in a row, and you come out and you score that goal within the first minute. What does that do to the team when you get that early lead?
Overall, I think it was just a big confidence booster. I mean, we knew what we were getting ourselves into when we came out here. We knew we had to make a statement, so putting that early one away, I think it helped make things easier.
Phil, ever since this season started, you've come back and you've looked like you've had so much speed and so much quickness. And, Joe and I were saying during the broadcast, it looked like you had a different gear than the players you were playing against.
Yeah, I mean, from last season, I had that brace on. I don't know if you guys remember. So just, being free of that brace and really being confident this year, I think it's helping me become the player that I become.
And, Phil, this team hasn't allowed a goal in 4 games. And if there's one truism in soccer, it is if you don't give up a goal, you can never lose.
Yeah, hopefully we can keep that shutout going and continue on to the rest of the season.
And Mike mentioned you guys haven't allowed a goal in the last 4 games. Now you've scored 22 goals over the last 4 games. What's been the key for you guys on the attack?
I just want to say hard work. The willingness to get forward. Everybody seems like they want it this year. Everybody wants to score goals, and we all want to win as a collective group. So I think that's what's bringing us together.
All right, thanks for joining us, Phil. Go join your team, celebrate the victory. Good win.
Philip Lefkowitz, nice enough to come over and join us here, Joe, as the Dolphins win by a final score of 5-0. And not much time to rest. In about 48 hours or so, they're going to head to about 15 miles across the Goethals Bridge over to Rutgers Newark. Big opportunity for the Dolphins to play Rutgers Newark this Monday night.
And if you're the Dolphins, you couldn't hope to be playing much better than this, entering that big matchup against Rutgers Newark. It will certainly be a tough matchup, but I don't think the Dolphins could be much more ready for it than they are right now. 4 victories in a row, all of them by at least 4 goals, a pair of 4-0 victories, a 9-0 victory, and now a 5-0 victory over the Bloodhounds here today, improving to 2-0 in the CUNYAC Conference. A great streak for the College of Staten Island right now over the past week and a half or so, and Dolphins now have won 4 in a row heading into that big matchup at Rutgers Newark.
So, Joe, it was a big afternoon here at CSI. The women won early this morning. We brought you the CUNYAC Game of the Week. We'll be back on the air next Saturday against York College, but a lot of exciting things happening here at CSI, and both soccer teams playing extremely well.
I think that win for the men makes it 9 straight for the CSI soccer programs, 5 for the women, 4 for the men. They're playing extremely well right now, and unfortunately we won't be back on the air for a week, but it's been a lot of fun covering the CUNYAC Game of the Week here today. And one last time, we'd like to thank our sponsors, the Army ROTC, Pepsi, Municipal Credit Union, Hospital for Special Surgery, and Modell's for helping us bring you today's CUNYAC Game of the Week. Dolphins over the Bloodhounds by a score of 5-0.
So that's going to wrap things up here from the CSI Soccer Complex. Once again, the final score, Dolphins win by a final of 5-0. So for Joe Foreman, this is Mike Babuski saying so long and thanks for watching, as you've been watching the CUNYAC Game of the Week on your voice of everything CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com. Don't forget to join us next Saturday afternoon. We'll be on the air 11:45 with the pregame, 12 o'clock kickoff. Have a great weekend, everybody.